obviously we couldn't be more excited. Inaugural game, right? Bama and Boutwell playing at Boutwell Auditorium, historic auditorium, in partnership with Night Edie and with Nike. Nike has been a partner of Hibbett for many, many, many decades. And we're really looking forward to putting this event on for college basketball fans.
And we talked about the layout. I was talking about Boutwell, and I think it was Michael up here a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, Michael Edie, yeah.
And he said that it looks sensational. I ran into somebody like 2 days after that conversation. They said it looks great. Is there any way we can actually see the layout, like what the layout's supposed to, the rendering is supposed to look like?
Yeah,
I think we can certainly tease a few things out, but I think we want to keep it a little bit of a surprise.
Okay,
right?
okay.
All right, like
I think
don't want to jump the gun. What can we tease?
It's going to be a nice, intimate environment, certainly based on the size for what obviously for two great teams, and certainly looking forward to Alabama's upcoming season. And we'll have a few things at the event that'll be a surprise as well. So excited about our opportunities to partner with the community, both at the event as well as leading up to the event. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but Birmingham's been home for 79 years for Hibbett.
Yep.
So we're super proud of that. Our largest partner, which is Nike, we have an incredible partnership. They've had offices here in the Birmingham Metro for over a decade, to support the Hibbett business. So we're looking at this as a great opportunity to give back in an incredible event that we're hoping we can continue to do long term.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. When I was a kid growing up, Hibbett's is where I went to get my my gloves, my helmets, my everything for local sports, and we always appreciated the Hibbett name being on the outfield signs. Back when I was a kid, you had plywood signs out on the fence, and Hibbett was always nice to have sponsorship at the local parks too. So this is sort of just a next gen version of giving back to the community for you guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, community is a critical part of our strategy. We've partnered with Nike, obviously for many years now, and how we give back to the community. And what's really interesting about October the 18th and this event is it's really a celebration because it celebrates our partnership with Nike. Last year on October 18th, we announced a brand new connected partnership with Nike in an effort to get closer to our consumers and provide consumers with really incredible experiences. So really no better way to celebrate that than what we'll have this week. With Bama and Boutwell in partnership with Nike. Really can't wait.
All right, you can go to see more information and purchase tickets. There are still tickets available. BamaandBoutwell.com. It is Alabama Wake Forest Friday night, 7 o'clock. Nike and Hibbett presenting this game jointly, and it is going to be a fun game to watch. Alabama and Wake in Boutwell Auditorium. It is going to be a you're going to be right on top of the action. It is like you're going to be in the game. You're going to smell the sweat. It's the way you want it. Purchase tickets right there at BamaandBoutwell.com, BamaandBoutwell.com. Jared, thank you to Hibbett for making this happen, and thanks for joining us a little bit and let us know what we can expect.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it so much.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Yep, take care. That's Jared Briscoe with Hibbett Sports, and they are one of the presenting sponsors, BamaandBoutwell.com. You need to make it. You need to buy tickets and go. But in the event you cannot, Lance is out of town. Me and Dunaway will be on the game. I think Brian Passink is going to join us.
Yes.
For a little bit. We'll talk to him. He knows this Alabama team well, and as Wake Forest is telling you, you can see it on the Next Round YouTube channel.
Yeah, YouTube live stream on that Next Round Live. And for all you deeks out there, let us thumbs up and
set your alerts.
Subscribe and set your alerts and all that.
We've done plenty of Wake on here.
Looking forward to that happening, and we're looking forward to being down there. The Jaw 2's unveiled and all the great stuff that'll be happening, and getting to see the number 2 ranked team in the country and how talented and how deep that roster is going to look in this exhibition opener for Alabama against Wake Forest. All right. Champy's Chicken bringing you this hour. Am I mistaken, Forrester? LT wanted to see renderings. I've seen renderings somewhere. Did you?
I haven't seen it.
Did you not have them last week?
I think it's on the website.
Is it on the website?
I think so. Now, I don't know how accurate that is going to be.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the website.
Is it the back in Boutwell? Here it is. This is the rendering, LT. This is what I've seen. You see it?
I mean, that is the red seats are the only that's the only level right there, right? Those red seats that we see?
No, I think there's another level right above that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I may be wrong, Brownie. Or this could be just totally made up.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Here we go now, live on a Wednesday. These guys are at trivia later on. We'll tell you about that. We had football last night where a streak ended down in Mobile in a good way for the home team. We'll get to what we saw in college football last night and coming up tonight. Big moves in the NFL, one involving an Alabama player. Want to start things off today, though, with a Brett McMurphy tweet. Pretty interesting here. Just to show you where we are in college football. Coaches in their last 13 games, that's a full season if you go to a bowl game or a conference championship. So last 13 games.
I know why the number's 13. I have not read this, but I'm going to assume it is Lincoln Riley based.
As we get into this, 5 and 8 coaches in their last 13. Lincoln Riley is one of those, LT. You want to name the rest of them, or you want me to jump in real quick? And
no, you go ahead. I'm just saying I would assume
Lincoln's
that
one
this is
of
based
them.
on
Absolutely.
Lincoln Riley. Yeah,
5 and 8 in the last 13 games. The talent on this list, though, I think is pretty good. Starting with Lincoln Riley, on this list as well, Mark Stoops, 5 and 8 in his last 13.
I mean, I would have to see the games that Mark Stoops is going against, but you're in the SEC, you're Kentucky, not nearly as surprising as USC.
Lincoln Riley, Mark Stoops. Nobody's shocked that Billy Napier's on this list, but
Shouldn't be.
He's 5 and 8, trending better in a good direction, better than some of these guys, maybe even better than Lincoln. I don't know. Did you see where Lincoln had a couple of players now that I think one's injury, defensive lineman, defensive end Lucas, and linebacker Gentry done for the year. So it may be time to bounce in Los Angeles for the rest of the season.
Well, that's their best defense player is Eric Gentry.
It is?
Oh, yeah. You know, Barry Alexander already tapped out. This is going in the wrong direction right now. You know, Florida should never be in this situation. I get Kentucky, and you know,
the perception is Stoops was doing a pretty good job.
Well, I think the problem is Stoops is becoming a victim of his own success. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Because even Brown said it a
so.
couple of days ago, I'm just not buying into Kentucky. Kentucky's 3-3.
I know. I don't know expect more, Lance.
Yeah, I don't know what the expectation should be because you've got programs like Florida now that the SEC is expanding. They're having difficulties, and they're really going in the wrong direction.
On this list, Lincoln Riley, Mark Stoops, Billy Napier. I don't think anybody's surprised that Mac Brown is on this list, but he's on there 5 and 8. Everyone thinks this is possibly it for him. You mentioned it a few weeks ago, guys. Sonny Dykes on this list, 5 and 8 in his last 13 games. Satterfield at Cincinnati left Louisville at a good time. I thought he was trending towards 5 and 8. Lance Leopold on this list at 5 and 8. I don't think anybody saw this coming. This guy was the talk of college football for the last 2 years. He's now a 5 and 8 coach in his last 13.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't talk about the fact that he lost his offensive coordinator to James Franklin at Penn State. And that's been the massive difference with Jalen Daniels in this offense. The Andy Kotelnicki, what is the guy?
Andy Kotelnicki. Everybody. I tell you who loves Andy Kotelnicki is all these college football writers. They've apparently followed this guy, which I'm not going to pretend like I followed Andy Kotelnicki's career. I will say Penn State's offense, it's better than it has been, and Andy Kotelnicki is the offensive coordinator now. Those the two things seem to coincide.
And I don't know the numbers, but I would think if you looked at a healthy Jalen Daniels to this year's production, they're probably down double digits in scoring.
Deion Sanders is on this list. Trending pretty good for Deion right now, but he's 5 and 8 in his last 13. The last name on this list, Hugh Freeze of Auburn, 5 and 8 in his last 13. But, I mean, that's some talented guys.
Yeah, but if we're doing tiers there, like USC and Florida, that is despicable to be 5 and 8 in your last 13.
By the program.
By the programs, yeah, because those are A programs. Then I would go Auburn a little bit less than that. That's a bad spot to be in, even if you're a coach that's in year number 2 right now. I can guess I can give all those other coaches passes. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but
tough jobs at North Carolina, TCU, Kansas, Colorado, Cincinnati, and Kentucky.
Yeah, middling jobs in their conferences.
Mark Stoops is fascinating to me because I don't know where Kentucky fans are with this guy. I know they're paying him a lot of money for a Kentucky football coach, a lot of money.
But anybody in that position is going to get paid a lot of money, right?
And I guess.
I don't think you can be the head coach of an SEC program and not get paid a lot of money now. I think it's impossible.
Well, I mean, the the numbers support you. You're right. I mean, everybody that's SEC coach for the most part is getting paid a ton of money.
Is there anybody under $6 million?
I don't know what Levy is. Where's Levy? I mean, that would be your lowest paid.
Probably under. And then Clark Lee, I don't know what the extension was, probably $5 million
but
a
he's
year.
going to cash in one way or the other after this year.
But that's a private school. We never really know what they pay.
So how many guys do you give us? 7?
I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So of those 9, how many do you think make it? Obviously, a lot will make it this season, but through 2025.
Save Lincoln for last because that one's interesting. Hugh will make it. Mac is done. Sonny will make it. Lance Leopold will make it because I'm sure they gave him a great deal.
Yeah, and he's at Kansas. I mean, I don't know that they expect anything at Kansas.
Through one more full season?
Yeah, so I'm talking about the abbreviation of the second half of the season and then all of 25.
I think Napier is trending. I'm going to go yes with him, but that's sketchy. Dion is by his choice. I just don't think does it. Satterfield, I think Cincinnati got to be too good for a while. I don't think he makes it. And Stoops, the contract's too good. He won't leave unless it's on his own. So really only one will retire and one firing for me.
Well, I think the 2 and the firing is going to be Billy Napier, right?
I had Satterfield. I think Napier ends up saving it.
I don't know what the thought is.
My thing with Stoops, it just seems like he is so at odds with his athletic department there. Like after the loss to Vanderbilt, he's on the podium basically saying, boy, if we had an NIL like Vanderbilt had, we could probably get some good players too.
Does Vandy have a good NIL?
I mean, I guess he assumes they do since they went and got the New Mexico State quarterback. I'll pull up his quote.
Hit up Walker Buehler and David Price and some of these ex-Vanderbilt pitchers. And
I just figured that, they got Diego Pavia, his offensive coordinator and his former head coach to come there, and the backup quarterback who's now an NFL tight end. I just assumed that they were shopping at Vapor there at the local Salvation Army. I don't know how many people were knocking down there. There should have been.
No, it's a good point. It's like they bought a jacket, like an old Army jacket. They're like, this is kind of cool. Get it for $35, and then there's an insulated pocket with a bunch of hundreds in it.
That's right, cash.
Yeah, and you're
Drug
like,
money.
damn, how did they do this? Yeah. So I would ask you guys about Tim Beck. So that's a guy that when you look at his background, he has grinded through the ranks and ended up in New Mexico State last year, is the offensive coordinator for Jerry Kill. And you look at how he is making some defensive coordinators in the SEC look silly right now with Diego Pavia. And it's like they don't know what's coming. And my question to you guys, he won a national championship at Pittsburgh State. I think he's around 60. Would he be one of these guys you would take a flyer on? Now, he reminds me of what you would get with maybe, some of these things haven't worked out. Craig Bowl at Wyoming.
Yep.
Kleiman has been good at Kansas State.
He's been good.
Leopold. I mean, he's that kind of coach. But you just wonder, man. I mean, I've never seen Vanderbilt coached with the discipline they're being coached with right now.
I would want to know. I'd want to know how much of this is the New Mexico State winners last night in double overtime. By the way, New Mexico State. How much is their infusion of their blood into this program to this success? I think we all know Diego Pavia is a lot of it. But you listen to Diego, Jerry Kill's part of it, Mac, the OC's part of it, the tight ends of NFL quality players. So you take those guys out, would Clark Lee be sitting here fired at this point and we wouldn't be thinking of him the same way?
I don't know. If I'm the offensive coordinator, Tim Beck, though, back to it, like if I'm North Carolina, you get rid of 74-year-old Mac Brown. You could hire a 60-year-old and people are like, damn, you went young.
Yeah.
So that's
youth movement in Chapel
That's
Hill.
almost what I would take a look at if I'm North Carolina, because I don't know how good that program is. It's better than the way they're playing right now.
Yeah.
But you can take a flyer if you're North Carolina.
Here's the Stoops quote. This is a direct quote from Mark Stoops on the podium.
This year
After the loss to Vanderbilt. Not this year, Jim, this week.
Okay.
Well, last 7 days. Quote, Vandy went out and made it happen with the NIL. Do you see the amount of publicity Diego is getting? Once we get an NIL support system like that, we'll be able to compete in the SEC.
I see. I mean, I understand. I mean, Diego Pavia is a star. He's a star because of what he did to beat Auburn last year, and then he backed it up by beating Alabama in a watched game that got picked up and carried on ABC and main ESPN when other games were going.
I do think there's something to him playing for Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was such a laughingstock for so long. Let's say that Diego was playing right now for Colorado State. Or even if he was playing for Kentucky.
Yeah.
Let's just flip it around.
Well, I mean, you have to beat some big boys like Colorado State would if they'd beaten Dion in that big game. Diego would have been a star.
I still think it's a little bit different because, I mean, you guys will give me that Vanderbilt has been such a laughing stock.
Oh, yeah.
And now that Vanderbilt is sitting at 4-2, and Vanderbilt, after the win this weekend, and I'm not even going to say it would be so Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt's never been in a situation like this to blow a game against Ball State.
Yeah.
I fully expect they'll take care of business here. Ball State is not good. They go to 5-2. They're going to be ranked.
Here's the analogy. This is in Tin Cup. With the garden tools on the back nine, him breaking par or whatever he ended up doing.
Brown's favorite golf movie.
I hate that movie.
I love
It's
that
realistic,
movie.
man.
Hate Tin Cup.
I love that movie.
Hate that movie.
But after they break all the clubs and he starts hitting with a hoe and a sling blade and a rake and finishes out the round that way, that's what Diego Pavia is doing. He's winning without a golf club. He's winning with a hoe.
Do you think he will be?
Things that have also been said in national.
And by the way, you can only win with one for so long.
Yeah.
Do you think Diego might be the number 1 overall pick in the CFL draft?
I love how you've had this guy as a cleanup hitter in a men's softball league and a CFL quarterback now. Yeah. Like you give the guy, you also made him your SEC first team all SEC quarterback. So
I know it's crazy, but
I think I had him on the slow pitch softball.
He has zero chance of playing in the NFL.
No, I don't think he'll be an NFL.
I mean, if I'm CFL, if I'm the Argonauts, I'd take a shot at him.
If I'm Skip Holtz, I'd love him to be like my 8th quarterback that I'll do nothing but win with.
That's what I was about to say. I first would like to know what Skip Holtz thinks of him. If Skip Holtz likes him, if I'm in Saskatchewan, I'm coming down to take a look at him.
Has he been the biggest story in the SEC this year?
Yes. Yeah.
Like if you're looking
100%.
for one storyline,
real quick.
Yeah, one storyline. Like, have we had a massively disappointing team?
I think
Ole Miss, kind of.
A little bit. They're not massively disappointing just yet. They have been very disappointing.
I mean, things around here that have been talked about as much or more than Diego has been Hugh Freeze throwing players under the bus. We talked about that a lot.
Ryan Williams. I think Ryan Williams has been a big story in the entire SEC, the way he's played immediately.
I think it's got to be, and especially after this week, a ranked Vanderbilt team that probably – I mean, look, he's not the most talented, but I think he would be if you voted right now your first-team All-SEC quarterback.
Yeah, the irony is going to be that Vandy jumps into the rankings likely because of a Michigan loss to Illinois. Because Michigan's 24, so defending national champs out, in comes Vandy.
Well, I mean, if Michigan and Vanderbilt played right now, I like Vanderbilt, especially the way they're coached.
It'd be an interesting game. I don't disagree with you.
We're off and rolling today. Show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. We'll tell you about a classic football game here in Birmingham in just a second. But the classic provider for your roof protection is Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. We've been telling you for years the name you can trust is Greg from Pell City, Greg Nelson, and the name Storm Restoration Roofing. Locally owned for over 20 years. Here's what you get with Greg. First off, family owned. He's on a crew. His son's on a crew. His son-in-law's on a crew. So how many roofing companies' crews actually are one family, all local guys who they care about you? They're going to see you at the shopping center. They're going to see you at the store, at church. So they're going to do a good job for you, right off the bat. And they give you a free quote when you got some storm damage or maybe you think your roof's getting old, free quote. They'll actually get on your roof and give you a free evaluation as well. As I said, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Central Alabama's most trusted name in roofing, 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531 for storm damage, roof replacements, insurance claims, restorations, and just that free evaluation. It's all right there with family-owned Storm Restoration Roofing. And the Classic is coming back to Birmingham.
83rd Classic. Can you believe that? The 83rd Classic. Alabama A&M and Alabama State, the number one HBCU Classic in the country, is coming up Saturday, October 26th. It is a 2:30 kick down at Legion Field. Don't forget the parade also before the game, but tickets are selling fast for the game. Still some available right now and priced at just $25 for general admission, $35 for reserve seating, and you can buy at MagicCityClassic.com. That is MagicCityClassic.com. Obviously, the game is great, but the show's at halftime too, so it's worth the price of admission just to see the halftime show, and it's a great fundraiser for both HBCU schools, Alabama State and Alabama A&M. So go get tickets now, MagicCityClassic.com.
All right, so as we roll towards another big football weekend, a pretty amazing thing can happen on Saturday with a certain result. 2007 is a season that has been referenced a lot so far in college football this year because of the early chaos and the losses that are stacking up for the top teams. If Texas gets beaten by Georgia, it'll be the first time this early in the season the SEC does not have an unbeaten team since 2007, when LSU was a 2-loss national champion.
Okay, so Big 12 does not have an undefeated, right?
Not overall. No.
Nope, not overall.
ACC.
Iowa State. Are they unbeaten?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Iowa State.
Brown's like, not overall.
Not overall. That's right.
Iowa State. That's right.
Yeah. Should have lost at Iowa, but they didn't.
ACC, you've got Miami, Pittsburgh. Is that it?
Brown, pull up ESPN.
I'll pull up the standings real quick.
I'm just wondering how many of the Power Four still have undefeated. Yeah. I mean, this isn't surprising. Brown said it last week, I think, that, the day of having an undefeated team, I think you'll get one every 2 or 3 years in Power Four, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I think it's something in college you've always aimed at. In the NFL, you really haven't. It's been like exceptional what happens, and I just think as college fans, I think you're just going to have to accept that it is going to eventually become a thing of the past, the way this game is moving. Miami and Pitt are undefeated in the ACC, both at 6-0. BYU also undefeated in the Big 12.
Oh, yeah.
At 6-0 with Iowa State. So you got 4 there. You've got 3 in the Big 10. Jim does not buy one.
Yeah, Indiana.
Coach Sig, 6-0.
The way you held that cigarette, that was not a cig. That was not a cig. There you go.
Coach Sig is 6-0. Oregon 6-0. Penn State still 6-0. So you got 3 there. And that is, other than Texas, it in your Power 5 conferences.
Yeah, so there you go. That's
not a lot.
Pretty interesting there for the SEC. Something that hasn't happened since 2007 in this awesome conference of ours. Kyle says he is a Alabama A&M grad. Glad to have you along, Kyle, for the ride today. A lot of you jumping in. Talking about the list of 5 and 8 coaches over in the mybookie.ag chat room. We appreciate you guys every day being with us. Mybookie.ag, promo code next round. In the games last night, if you play lanceslog.com, you got home with South Alabama, but it was going to be scary because of Gio Lopez not being 100% the quarterback. He still musters out 67 rushing yards, 158 yards, scoreless first quarter, but South Alabama beats Troy 25-9, ending a 6-game losing streak to Troy. So a big win for the Jags.
I can't believe how bad Troy has gotten.
I can't either.
And I know they had a lot of players bail after John Summerall. He somewhat with them, I believe. And John Summerall is an exceptional football coach. I think he's a really good coach. We very much like John Summerall on this show, so it's going to be a tough act to follow to begin with. But, boy, they have fallen off precipitously. I mean, that is a bad football team.
I am. We talked about this yesterday when we were at Inverness Country Club. We were doing that specialty show. For the number to move like it did, and I brought up Gio Lopez, like, is he out? We just don't know about it?
No, he was not.
Yeah, no, even if he was a little gimped up, I mean, for that number to drop basically 3-4 points, that was pretty incredible. Do you guys think that, and I'm guessing Major Applewhite is 46, 45, 46?
Do a fact check, Brown.
I'll do it.
Do you think Applewhite will ever get another opportunity?
He's got to be older than 45, LT, because he was with Nick Saban the first
46.
year, 17 years later. 46.
Never doubt Lance.
I mean, how young was he?
Never
was he
doubt.
30? What would that be?
Oh, he was a kid. I think he was 29, wasn't
17 years ago.
I think I remembered us talking about him being 29, being under 30, and Nick Saban was like, what does age matter?
Yeah.
If the guy's good, he's good. I don't care how old he is. And, it wasn't a great fit.
It was the same with Tommy Reese.
Yeah. Does he get another chance? I don't know. I mean, obviously, he's got the baggage of the past. There's a reason he was out at Texas. So Houston and South have looked past that in hiring him. What you can't look past is the fact he was 15-11 at Houston, 10-6 in conference. He's in his first year at South, but they are still 3-4.
That's right. They're just 3-4.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, he's going to have some winning records to get another job.
They do think like it feels like they've gotten better, though.
Yeah. Problem is they have not on defense. They did look good last night against a bad Troy team.
You don't get to play Troy every week, right?
Yeah, 25-9, a big win for them last night. Just to break that streak in what is a rivalry game, Brown? They call it what?
The battle for the belt, Jim.
Yeah, battle for the belt.
Yeah, South's got the belt.
Yeah, so that was good last night. Also, MTSU, a winner last night, 14-5. I don't know if that was a scoregami or not.
It's going to be close.
14-5, Middle Tennessee over Kennesaw, and New Mexico State in double overtime. They beat La Tech last night. Good game tonight. Western Kentucky, Sam Houston State. It's not going to blow your socks off, but trust me, that's a good football game right there. 6 o'clock on ESPN2. lanceslock.com. You can get plays on that, or maybe baseball tonight right there. Brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill.
Yeah, we've got so new week started Tuesday. Thank God, 2-0 last night. So we build on this week. We leave the other in the rearview mirror. We do have a side in that game that you mentioned, Western Kentucky and Sam Houston State. We've also got a side, Game 3 NLDS. Jump on board, win with us. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the names that Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. If any of those arise in your home or business, they are ready to help you. 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, or hemphillservices.com.
And betting lines, Brownie kept us updated on the dropping one at South Alabama yesterday, brought to you by our friends at mybookie.ag. Interesting stat before you give us a update on the Texas-Georgia line. Brownie, which you tell me continues to move around a little bit, and update us on Bama and Tennessee as well. But there have been 2 top 5 matchups this year, and I think I'm right about this. The underdogs have covered in both of them, and have they won them both outright? Oregon and Alabama?
Oregon and Bama were both underdogs,
They were both underdogs at home, and they both won the game outright?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah. I mean, those are the only 2 top 5 matchups, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so both underdogs, both were home dogs, both won outright.
So a little different this week with Texas being the home favorite.
Favorite, Georgia underdog, but maybe the underdogs win again in this top 5 matchup. Where's that line, Brown?
It's at 3.5. Texas is favored 3.5. So how much movement is that at 3.5? That's not a ton.
No, well, it got out. It stretched out to 4 yesterday, and then it came back to 3.5. I think it'd probably settle around 3.5.
Texas is favored 3.5. I'll give you an interesting one to watch. LSU is favored 3 at Arkansas. I am told from people at Arkansas, not in the coaching staff, just people that are around the program.
That cover the Hogs.
They cover the Hogs. They might call the Hogs occasionally. That Taylor Green is playing in that game. Now, how close to 100% is he? I do not know. They will not do an availability report till tonight at 7. I believe is when that drops, 7 Central tonight. So it'll be interesting to see how Sam Pittman lists him on the availability report.
Tricky game for LSU, a team that seems like they're getting a little bit better, a team that shouldn't have won last week, but they found a way to win. It seems like Blake Baker is getting that defense a little bit better, too. They made the adjustments. Ole Miss wasn't moving it in the second half like they did in that first quarter. But this is why you pay Brian Kelly the money you pay Brian Kelly.
That's right.
You're not supposed to lose games like this in Fayetteville.
Alabama's still a 3-point favorite at Tennessee. Auburn still a 4.5-point underdog at Missouri. All those lines that we just gave you came from mybookie.ag. You can go online to mybookie.ag. When you start your account, you're going to make a deposit, right? You got to have something to play with. We're going to help you out, though. You use code NEXTROUND, and they'll double that deposit for you. So that is free money right away. And it's not one of those places where that bonus you got to win 4 or 5 times with it to make it yours. You win once with it, it is yours, and you do whatever you want after that. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND to get that double deposit bonus at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Later in the show, would you guys just on a sheet of paper, not a dry erase board, sheet of paper, just scribble out your top 5 games of the year through the first way. The 5 games that you consider to be the best 5 games, however you consider best. I've got mine written down. And I'd love to see y'all's later on. Same in the chat room. We'll get to it coming up later on. We'll get to Rece Davis as well, host of College Game Day, and Alabama grad Rece Davis joins us at 10:30 Central on the show. And you loved him. You wanted him back, and he's coming back. He's actually a former college football player who breaks down tape. It's Brooks Austin, who joins us at 11 Central. He'll talk about maybe an adjustment from the Alabama defense he liked this past week against South Carolina.
I was told they didn't adjust anything.
That could be moving forward, going to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. So Bama and Tennessee, a big game this weekend. But now to baseball, where last night, welcome to the postseason, Aaron Judge. Finally, he gets a home run, LT, and the Yankees win it 6-3. And the problem here with Cleveland is their starting pitching has not been good. Four innings in 2 starts, giving up 6 runs. They've had to go to their bullpen quick.
Yeah, look, and this is a problem for Cleveland. You saw lucky to survive wild card against Detroit because the offense went, 20 consecutive innings without scoring a run. The Yankees, boy, if Judge starts to swing it, only 1 RBI coming into this game in the entire postseason, hits the 2-run bomb. Cleveland 0 of 7 with runners in scoring position yesterday. They're 1 for 11 the last 2 games with runners in scoring position. I don't know if the Guardians are going to be able to snap out of this offensive funk. I think we've got a great NLDS on our hand. Seems like the Yankees probably are going to roll into the World Series.
And if Judge does get going, I don't know how you beat the Yankees in this series because they've been good, obviously, with him not performing at all hardly at the plate.
That's right.
I mean, if he starts performing at the plate, what do you do?
No, nothing.
Nothing? I don't know that there's anything you can do.
2-0 series lead now for the Yankees. As LT says, back to the National League, the good one. Tonight, Dodgers, Mets, FS1, 7 o'clock. I don't understand what's on Fox. Do they dance with stars on Fox, or do we have a masked singer tonight on Fox?
You think that would get bigger than the NL?
The playoffs so far, ratings are up 18%, but it only gets you to 3.3 million. Now, I think that's more than it would watch the masked singer, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But is tonight a masked singer night on Fox?
It might American be, Idol? but you're still talking about massive markets. Yeah. You're talking the entire West Coast with Los Angeles, and there are a ton of Mets fans, obviously, up the Eastern Coast.
I mean, maybe you have to put this kind of stuff on FS1 occasionally just so the cable providers continue to carry it or something. But as Brown says, FS1, there's always a good series of football games on the weekend on Saturday.
I haven't even done my sneaky good game yet, but I bet I find one.
And I don't know how much the channel matters anymore. You guys, with your algorithms, when you turn on YouTube TV, the first thing that will pop up for me tonight will be Dodgers and Mets.
That's right.
And then next to it will be Sam Houston State and Western Kentucky.
I often don't know what network I'm on. Like, I know if I'm on an ESPN or a Fox network, but sometimes I'm watching a game and it's on FS1. I really don't even realize.
Well, the other night, West Virginia and Iowa State wouldn't pop on my screen for whatever reason. I didn't know how to go to a guide. So I had to go. I really.
That's where we are.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we are.
What you should do on downtime is just play with the remote. Just try it out.
I know how to work the remote. I just don't know how to figure out how to get to that guide with all of the programming that pops up on YouTube. So I had to go to the multi-view, and I had to just scan down until I found one with
Iowa State in there. So let's do this in the off season. Let's say
let's just run through scenarios.
So late April, it's going to be like spring practice for you with the remote. You just sit there and we'll just call out, find me a Law and Order rerun, and then you start searching for that. Find me this, find me that. We'll just do like spring training for you. Get your reps in on the remote.
Tonight, 7 o'clock on Fox, Jim, The Masked Singer.
I knew it had to be something.
8:02.
This year it's better than ever. Or as Joe Test would say, a monumental night of The Masked Singer.
It is sports night on The Masked Singer, it says.
It's sports night?
So we're going to go head-to-head with the division or the championship series with a sports night Masked Singer. We're just trying to get all the sports.
So let me ask you. I have no inside information. Anybody thinks that one of the Masked Singers this year is Travis Kelce?
I'd buy it, yeah.
I'd buy it.
He's got plenty of time. I know they're in season, but he's going to games with Taylor Swift.
I assume this is pre-taped. They've already pre-taped this.
Sure.
Yeah, like
I'd buy it.
Back in the summer.
Yeah.
That he's one of the singers, and he's only going to sing Taylor Swift songs.
Or do you think that they would put him with his brother, and it would be like a duet?
Like the Righteous Brothers?
Baby, you've lost that love and feeling.
The floor comes on at 8:02. I think that's like The Floor is Lava or something like that, Tyler. I'm not sure how the floor works.
It's a game show this year, 100 squares.
Oh, is that the one where if it's a color square, you get kicked out or something? You got to pick the square that says.
This is where I challenge this guy beside me, and it's some trivia answer question.
Right.
And I get all his squares, and then I start taking over the board. Like,
okay.
Like if you've won a lot of games. It's the one that Rob Lowe hosts.
Okay.
I only know this because of promos. I've never watched one game.
I tell you, in football.
That is exactly what the Wikipedia entry for that show says, Jim.
Yes, Jim nailed it.
Wikipedia says I've never watched this show, but
that's how I find out what's on all the networks is when I'm watching the NFL games or the college games. And let me tell you, in the Alabama-South Carolina game, they showed that Don Johnson boat show promo.
Oh, yeah.
That looks like an awful show.
Dr. Odyssey?
Odyssey.
Oh, we were laughing how bad it was. Like, Don Johnson's like, what do you need? And he goes,
a miracle.
Yeah. And I told Maddie, I was like, I have got to have an edible and sit back and watch Dr. Odyssey because it has got to be the most ridiculous television show in history.
First of all, it's pacey from Dawson's Creek. That's the doctor that's going to save everybody.
He needs a miracle.
You've got to have a doctor on this cruise ship. So every week somebody's going to almost die on this cruise ship. Why does anybody go on this cruise ship?
I did watch the first 5 minutes of it, and I had to shut it down.
Right.
But so the two assistants or whatever, they're talking to Don Johnson, and the old doctor's not going to make the trip.
Right.
And they're about to board out to sea, and they're like, well, who's the new guy? You'll meet him shortly. And, he comes pulling up and just a murdered out Escalade. He gets dropped off. All these guys have got all these different bags. So apparently he's got he's a trust fund guy or something that doesn't need it, overqualified. But all the women are like, oh my God. Yeah. And that's when I was like, I want to battle through this to see how bad this can be.
Yeah.
And see if he got his miracle, but I didn't.
I mean, it looks awful.
Forster's right. Pacey was Dr. Death as well. So
he was good in Dr. Death.
He can play it all, man. Yeah. He can play it all. All right, one more thing here, because I think this is if I'll go last 13 shows like McMurphy did on the coaching, I think this is now 5 of the last 8 shows that we're going to mention the name Bryant Vincent on the show. We've
Coach of the year.
We've become the Bryant Vincent show here in Birmingham. But Bryant Vincent, Brown, you're close. They've whittled down the Bryant Award watch list, and on the Bryant Award watch list for National Coach of the Year, Bryant Vincent is on there. Now, they go alphabetical, but he's in a good neighborhood because his name's V, all the S's, the Sarkeesians, the Taki, Smart, and Sweeney right above him on the list on the Bryant Award watch list.
Dabo's on the Bryant Award watch list. He's played one meaningful game, and he got run out of the stadium.
If Bryant Vincent was to go 10-2 in the Sun Belt and win the Sun Belt, and again, I don't think I don't see this happening at all. But if he was to go 10-2, I think they're in the mix to get the at-large.
Oh, wait a minute.
No. First of all, he's in the Sun Belt.
Lon Monroe and at-large?
If they were 10-2?
No, there would be an American team.
Well, their other two would be they'd have a loss to Auburn and a loss to Texas.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
I don't think so either.
Who's that wins?
DeBoer's on the list.
James Madison.
Yeah.
Freeze is not on the list. DeBoer's on the list. Freeze.
I would not imagine Freeze is on the list.
Just
I can't believe Dabo is.
If they go 10-2, he wins Coach of the Year, though.
Okay, I'll give you that.
National Coach of the Year?
I think so.
Maybe. I don't know. It's these. Listen,
Kalani Sitake's still on there.
Army guy, Navy guy. Those are going to be really high. If Clark Lee keeps winning games, it's going to be hard to beat him too.
Matt Campbell's on the list. Yeah. But you're right. Army, Navy. No Air Force, no Marines. When we come back, we will show you something that I think we should give LT for Christmas.
Okay. I've still got to get his gift.
Yeah. I've not bought his gift yet either. So an LT Christmas gift coming up. And also we'll get into some of these games going on in college football. And when an owner goes too far, maybe that was yesterday too. All that still to come on the show that's being brought to you by our friends at HydroLife. Stay hydrated. Stay vitamined up as the cold and sick season's coming.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, now weight loss therapy, all under one roof. Very important when you head into one of those locations of HydroLife Therapy. Mention the next round, 20% off all of these great services. Speaking of the weight loss therapy, HydroLife combines hydration therapy with targeted weight loss treatments. They provide a comprehensive approach to weight management. For more information and to book your appointment online, hydrolifetherapy.com. Walk-ins are welcome. Again, if you're in one of those 2 locations in Birmingham, Homewood, Highway 280 right there in Greystone, mention the next round, 20% off these great services. They're open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, hydrolifetherapy.com.
Oh, Rusty, I'm checking the D's. Day, DeBoer, Dillingham. No Dilfer on there over on the mybookie.ag chat room. Weight of Wellness, your weight loss supervised group down there. Leslie and her board certified team can help you with your supervised weight loss. It is weight loss simplified for you. Personalized plan that works just for you. Medical weight loss supervision, meal replacements, board certified medical professionals, planforme.com. And if you want to work at a place like Weight of Wellness, a great career opportunity awaits you. Get more details. Planforme.com, planforme.com. No contract, no sign-up fees, and that first consultation is free. In fact, it was blood pressure and cholesterol that I went to see Leslie first about. Life-saving numbers that she's helped me with. Planforme.com, planforme.com. It's Weight of Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at
Man, I love a good meal.
ScottForesterTV.
I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Back with you on the Next Round. Yesterday, SEC basketball media days. By the way, CBSSports.com. National Player of the Year. National Player of the Year. Mark Sears, preseason National Player of the Year.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, not surprised.
I got no problem with that. And I've said, I think for the first time in the history of this state, we've got two legitimate Naismith Player of the Year candidates here, and Janai Broome and Mark Sears. I think either one of them could contend for that.
Yeah, Mark Sears and Janai Broome both talking to Taylor, E.G., and Brownie yesterday at SEC Media Days about Bama and Auburn picked 1-2 in the preseason. Here's Mark Sears starting it off.
Bulletproof, I say. Like, have no weakness, and that's something that we was going to the Final Four and we ran against UConn. That's something that we heard them say, and it was the truth. They were hard to stop, and we just want to kind of be that, but make it in our own way.
And we're going to bring it every night, and we're still hungry. You know, we're not satisfied with what we did last year. It's New Year, so we're still coming.
Yeah, so big years ahead in basketball. We're looking forward to Friday night down there. There's a meeting yesterday, by the way. Bruce talking to Nate about his jacket. He saw Wimp in there and said this was out of the Wimp collection that would fit in over at the Plaid Palace in Tuscaloosa. Those two good friends off the court as they get ready for maybe an iconic basketball season here in our state. Could you imagine if both of them were in the Final Four? Oh.
Would it feel like Duke, Kentucky when they played down in New Orleans?
Yeah,
would it have the same feel for you?
It's starting to feel like
it. Yeah, I mean, how long did it take?
Or excuse me,
Duke and North Carolina. How long
did
it take them to finally get to a Final Four together? Seems a little unbelievable that we would have Alabama and Auburn for the first time in a decade, or this decade, get to a Final Four.
Yeah. They get there
but
together.
who knows? You never know.
It seems. I was about to say it seems closer than Duke and North Carolina, but that's not true because Duke and North Carolina high in the rankings as well. The show being brought to you in part today by our friends at Odie's, who are at Trivia tonight. LT and Brownie will be out there.
Yeah, stop in, see us every Wednesday night. We're out there at the original location in Crestline. Get there early, enjoy great food from Rece Davis. He's been doing it for more than 35 years. The delicious wings, fantastic burgers, great sandwiches like that Diablo sandwich, ice cold beer buckets, full of the Bud Light. Inside or outside, you can enjoy this fall weather, watching Major League Baseball, the postseason, college football. They've got it all right there at Odie's Tavern. 2 locations, the one we will be at tonight in Crestline, and the newest location in Edgewood. It's Odie's Tavern.
Sneaky good game in a moment. Not sneaky about the pants store. If you want to look great when you go to the games, that includes basketball season. You get all the great gear at the pants store, pantstore.com, pantstore.com, wherever you're watching or listening to us today. But some of you are very close to a pants store building right now. Several in Birmingham, including the OG in Leeds, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, and Auburn. It's your game day headquarters for all the Bama and Auburn polos, hats, and quarter zips. Perfect for football or basketball season with the Gentile, Antigua, Cutter Buck, and Horn Legend brands. Rompers and dresses for the ladies out there. Sweaters as well when you get to that time of year. Free alterations and free gift wrapping, all with our friends at the Pants Store. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pants Store. Pantstore.com. This is back on Monday. Jerry Jones, 82 years old, Jerry Jones now, I believe.
I think that was his 82nd birthday Sunday.
It was, yeah.
When the Lions gave him a
47
very
to 9
nice gift.
Jerry Jones does a weekly radio. Does a post-game news conference.
That's right.
Outside of the locker room every game, and he does a radio appearance on 105.3 The Fan. Brownie, I think this is the flagship station for the Cowboys, I would guess.
I guess so. I really have no earthly idea, but I don't know why the owner of the team would go on a radio station that's not paying his team to carry games or however that arrangement works.
Shan and RJ is the morning show that Jerry jumps on, and this altercation happens after either Shan or RJ were asking questions about some of the off-season or lack of off-season moves and other things that Jerry Jones had not done for this Cowboys team.
Let me tell you what I'll do. Let me tell you what I'll do about it. I will let us sit down and look at the decisions we've made over the last several years. Okay? I'll look at it. Now, if you think I'm interested on a damn phone call with you over a radio and sitting here and throwing all the good out with the dishwater, you have got to be smoking something over there this morning. I'm not. And I really don't, and I don't even want our listeners to listen to me, to talk about, this is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask
why.
Get
a job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, so that's a bad look, man. So threatening these guys for asking obvious questions.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go on, I mean, we've had some touchy conversations with people we had NIL deals with, right? And this would be a situation like that, a regularly scheduled appearance. When things aren't going good, you have to have some tough conversations on the air.
Right, especially if I'm paying you to be here.
I'm assuming that's their flagship.
I would guess. I would think.
And I think that he probably thinks he's got enough power that, hey, we're the Cowboys, we're the biggest brand in town, which is true, that he could call their general manager. And
who would buckle like that.
He would, yeah.
Or a sponsor
well, you saw that
buckle like that.
Those dudes laughed a little bit, but when he circled back and he said, basically, I'm not kidding.
It was uncomfortable
laughter.
laughter.
They kind of shut it down.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable laughter.
I don't think what a lot of people realize is a lot of these guys in that spot are making $30,000, $35,000 a year. They're barely surviving check to check, and they're asking questions that Cowboys fans won't ask.
Yeah. Right.
And they want the answers to these. Not that you're going to get it from Jerry Jones, but what does Jerry think they're going to ask him?
By the way, this is why I used to laugh when people talked about Nick Saban coaching the Cowboys. I'm like, you really think Nick Saban is going to go coach for a guy that does a post-game press conference and a weekly radio interview? This guy won't even let his coordinators talk to the media, much less go work for an owner that's going to openly question him for coaching decisions after every game. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So my question is, what did Jerry do wrong this offseason?
Well, I think a couple of things. They wanted to get better, and all they did really was wait on CeeDee Lamb and let that price of receivers go up. Wait on Dak with all these other extensions from Trevor Lawrence to Jordan Love to Tua. They waited for that money to go up. So basically all they did was spend more money on guys they already had instead of going out and trying to make this roster a little bit better.
It would be hard, though, to not sign CD and find a better receiver.
No, I agree, but you could have done it earlier. You don't. There's not a world you want CeeDee Lamb to leave in.
Right.
So why not lock him down earlier, knowing he's going to be a long-term. So, and then it got down to really a game of chicken between Dak and the Cowboys. Dak continued to play it. Hey, I'll play out this year. The Cowboys decided not to do it. I think this thing would be a lot different in one of two ways. If Dak is playing like he's playing right now, he ain't getting the big offseason deal from the Cowboys.
That's right.
And maybe if he doesn't get the offseason deal, this is just how it works. Maybe he's playing much better because he's playing for a contract.
So I think there are a couple things here with Dallas and with Jerry Jones. I think, number one, he started to look bad in the offseason when he tried to justify the Ezekiel Elliott deal. All the Cowboys fans wanted him to go get Derrick Henry.
That's right.
And he said Derrick Henry was too expensive.
Who's off to a record start.
Oh, yeah. Derrick Henry's playing fantastic for Baltimore. Now, I don't know that he would be doing the same thing in Dallas, to be fair. I mean, he's in a terrific spot in Baltimore for him.
Yeah.
I don't know that he'd have that same production in Dallas. But he said Derrick Henry costs too much money, so they end up with Ezekiel Elliott, who, guess what, costs the exact amount they were going to have to pay Derrick Henry. So
right.
that made him look like an idiot for doing that.
It still does every Sunday.
Some of that was because of the money they were going to owe Ezekiel either way, but they end up paying same for the running back spot than they would have for Derrick Henry. That was number one. And then number two, I think Dallas now is in, and we've talked about this a lot on this show, I either want my quarterback to be great or awful. I don't want a mid-tier quarterback because it makes me have to make tough decisions. And that's not where you want to be as a franchise. You don't want to be a franchise as a quarterback that's somewhere like 8 to 15 because I probably have to give him a long deal, but in my heart of hearts, I don't think he can win it all for me.
Yeah, and the problem is Dak has been great in the regular season in the past at times, but now that you've paid him, he's not great. He's average.
That's right. And you're stuck now. You're married to a pretty average quarterback.
What's the Cowboys' record right
now? I think they're
2 and 4.
2 and 4 or 3 and 3?
I think they're 2 and 4.
They're 2 and 4. I mean, they looked so good week one against Cleveland. We didn't know Cleveland was the mess they were at the time.
Yeah.
But they looked so good week one against Cleveland, and they have not looked good since, really.
I mean, that was a really good team that took them to the woodshed. And in the NFL, unlike college football, it doesn't matter if you lose 13 to 12 or 47 to 9. It's one game.
It's one game. Yeah, they're
There's
3
no
and 3
rankings or anything.
Yeah, they're 3 and 3 because they beat the Giants and the Steelers in back-to-back weeks, and then they got smoked by the Lions, smoked by the Saints, and they were getting smoked by the Ravens, and actually came back to make that a game at the end.
So 3 and 3 for them. So they're still in the mix as they move down and continue to get ready. Amari Cooper to the Bills after we left the show yesterday. Neat here that Buffalo will only have to pay him less than $1 million for the season, for the 1 year he'll be in Buffalo.
I mean, it's a great deal when you can get these guys that have signed the big contract and it hasn't worked out, if they're still good players. And It hasn't worked out for Amari Cooper in all likelihood, not because of Amari Cooper. It's because
he had a career year last year, 1,250 yards receiving.
Been to the postseason with Cleveland and with Dallas. It's very quiet guy. You never hear anything about Amari, and most people say that he is just the ultimate team guy. Doesn't bitch and complain, and now he's going to a really, really good situation. This is a win-win.
Well, he could be QB1. I mean, wide receiver 1, right?
Yeah, I think he will be.
Yeah, Devontae Adams to the Jets. We talked about it on the show yesterday. Cam Akers to the Vikings. And a silly discussion to me, but they're saying in Pittsburgh with Russ Wilson getting first-team reps, they'll decide later this week whether or not he will start the game or not. Justin Fields is 4-2 with that Pittsburgh team, but they're going to play this out all week long, which is asinine to me.
They're a yucky team to watch.
Yeah, they play good defense, so I would not want that T.J. Watt guy. Is that his name? T.J. Watt guy chasing me down if I was playing quarterback. All right, sneaky good game every Wednesday here on the show. It's brought to you by our friends at McCurry. It's another good slate of games in that B level. You know what I mean? You got the A+ game.
Right.
You got that A+ game with Georgia and Texas. I think Bama, Tennessee reaches that A excitement. But there are a lot of good B games out there this week. Tyler, let's hit it, man. The big
The College Football Spotlight.
This weekend's sneaky good game.
And our spotlight is always presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental. When it comes time to rent from McCurry. They make it super easy on you. They get you in and out fast. They've got the inventory a lot of people do not have. Whether it's trucks, SUVs, passenger vans, Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman, there on 2nd Avenue Northwest and Skyline Boulevard at Tuscaloosa. Reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003, McCurryRentals.com. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
Yeah, a really interesting slate here. I mean, some of the games I'm talking about, I'll get into it, but if you get my TV worksheet every week, there is a lot of red dots here. They're not great games, but they're interesting contests all over them in college football.
I was going to put mine on my board, and I forgot that I had this out there.
Well, keep it as your sneaky good game.
I'll
just go on the fly on my sneaky good game. Mine comes 11 o'clock early out of the gate Saturday morning in the Big 12. Arizona State at 5-1, and it's interesting. We talked about potential coaches of the year. Kenny Dillingham wasn't on that list, was he?
He is. He's in the D's. Dillingham, Day, and DeBoer were the only 3 D's.
Scott Satterfield is sitting at 4-2 right now with Cincinnati. His only 2 losses, a point to Pittsburgh and 3 at Texas Tech. Remember, Texas Tech undefeated in the Big 12.
Yep.
Pittsburgh undefeated overall. Those are the only 2 losses for Cincinnati right now.
Well, I thought it was such a weird higher with Satterfield as well.
I did too. I think he was just trying to
get out ahead of the posse.
And remember, he was on the list we started the show with at 5-8. So he bad at the end of last year. Now he's 4-2.
They are a 3-point dog to Arizona State. I think this game goes down to the wire. I've got a feeling Cincinnati wins this game. This is a really good, sneaky Big 12 game where neither team is ranked.
My game is so sneaky, it couldn't even sneak on this.
Oh, don't make a mistake.
It couldn't even sneak on this.
Don't make a mistake. It's probably on the back, Brownie. You know,
it
there's
could
2
sneak
sides.
on the front. My game is so sneaky, it couldn't even sneak on the back.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Couldn't even sneak on the back. Lance, what's a high point total in college football?
Anything over 65.
Anything over 65 is a high point total. You're going to see if you can find it?
Yeah, let's go.
It's not on there. New Mexico is at Utah State. The total in this game is 78.5. Is that a lot of points, Lance?
That is a heavy total.
78.5. Dunaway, you going to have the under or the over 78.5?
I'll take the under. Just because.
You're never behind in an under until you are. And you're never out of an over. Lance, would you feel like you're out of an over if it's 78.5 and it's 3-0 at the end of one?
Yeah, I would feel. You used to have overtime might be able to save you with the new 2
Not
points.
Anymore. No. 78.5 is your total. So if you like points, this game is for you, my friend. 3 o'clock True TV. Jim does not put True TV games on the list. I do not blame Jim.
I do sometimes.
If they're good.
If it's a good game.
Yes, that's right. I think combined records in this, Jim, is 3-9. That's why you would not put this on there. And I do not blame you.
For sheet purposes. And they must be an ESPN Plus game because I only have 3 ESPN Plus games on the back.
Yeah, True TV.
Yeah.
78.5.
Okay.
78.5 is your total. If you like points, find True TV and watch New Mexico at Utah State.
It's primetime ESPN2.
Well, primetime
on Saturday night. But it's an FCS game. That's how good of a game it is.
Oh, wow.
On primetime ESPN2 on Saturday night. Love you some football like the Dakotas do.
Look at that Jackrabbit. That is so good.
South Dakota State, who is back-to-back defending FCS national champions, playing the New York Yankees of the FCS, the North Dakota State team. They're in the Fargo Dome. Number one North Dakota State, number one South Dakota State versus number 2 North Dakota State. Number 1 on the road this weekend, a rivalry game, of course, and they play each other prime time, ESPN2. You'll be watching Georgia and Texas. You'll be coming down off a high of Alabama, Tennessee, or off the low of Alabama, Tennessee, wiping the tears or the smoke out of your eyes, whichever one you're doing. But that's a good football game. Record it.
Go back and watch it later.
Go back and watch it later on.
I mean, just overall, how good was Saturday? We do not get Saturdays like that enough.
And there are some people that believe this Saturday is going to be the best Saturday.
Okay, with this past Saturday in mind, when we come back, next segment, your top 5 favorite games of the year so far. And how much was this past Saturday? That's a great point by you, Brown. The show being brought to you by our friend Dr. B. We'll be seeing him in just a little bit.
We will be seeing Dr. B shortly. They are celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Month at Dr. B's office today, so we will be stopping by. Look, if you're starting to thin out a little bit, be preemptive. Make the phone call that I made years ago, 205-319-0316, t3hair.net for more information. Dr. B, doing a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures for over 20 years, uses his experience, advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. Hair has more than doubled in thickness. Make the phone call that me and Brown both did, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net. Make sure you tell them the guys from the Next Round sent you.
And our friend Daniel A. Moore, he's got another tribute coming out to Alabama football. It's only in the pencil sketch mode right now because it's from this season. It's called Deuces Wild. There's Forrester with the pencil drawing sketch out of what it's going to look like. That big catch from Ryan Williams. And then the interception from Zabian Brown at the end. Deuces Wild in that big win over Georgia. It's now a Daniel A. Moore work of art in progress. And you can go ahead and pre-order it right now at danielmooreart.com. And you can still order The Legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championship seasons. Pre-order now at danielmooreart.com. The 2025 calendar is available as well. Coupon code TNR gets you 20% off that calendar. It's all at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. College football continues on the next side. Real quickly, though, next year, this has got to be our Christmas gift for LT. It's got to be.
Okay.
Is it a Jimbo Fisher plush doll?
It is not. It would cost everyone. We would need everyone to kick in, because it cost $1,450 to $1,800.
I like you a lot, Lance.
It's outside of our $25 Dirty Santa range.
I'll let you guys kick in.
Yeah, I like Lance.
But apparently with no rules at all, if you pay that price, you get to run out with the USC football team at the LA Coliseum. That's what Jordan Mott did this past weekend.
He did it a little differently than you're supposed to do this.
There are no rules. And take a look. Jordan Mott walking down the tunnel with USC, and he's going to follow him onto the field.
Have you seen this, Brown?
Here he is. Oh, what? He's not wearing the old Cardinal and gold.
We are.
Yeah, he's wearing Penn State stuff. And he's running out with USC. See, there's no rules, apparently.
Clearly.
So a Penn State guy can buy the rights to run onto the field.
So ridiculous.
For USC.
I mean, you're proud program, Lance.
Can you imagine? I mean, literally, Nick Saban last year, if somebody gets fired for taking this money, right?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Well, this never gets enacted at
There's a Penn
Tuscaloosa.
State flag.
I know.
Yeah.
And the guy's he's running in a tank top.
Yeah.
Well, it's L.A.
So embarrassing.
It is.
So if we gave you $1,500, would you want to run out with the Trojans?
No. No, I don't think. Yeah, if you gave me $1,500.
Would you lie to us and said you run out with them?
I was on there.
And you would use it to buy some cocktails or movies or food or something?
Probably.
Top of the hour. We got a couple more hours still to go. More college football when we come back on TNR, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Don't forget Bud Light game night tomorrow night. We're out live from about 4:30 till about 7 o'clock. We'll be over in Avondale at the Boot. Is that what it's called?
That's the Goose.
The Goose. The Goose is where we'll be. I knew it was a short name. We'll be at the Goose.
Yes.
The Goose is where we'll be in Avondale tomorrow night with our friends at Bud Light.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, you. Feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair. To kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
By the way, you guys were talking SEC football coaching salaries earlier about Mark Stoops. Mark Stoops is the 9th highest paid coach in all of college football.
You're not getting a return on that right now.
$9 million a year is what he makes.
Of course, you're not getting a return on Lane Kiffin for what you're paying him.
No.
Lane Kiffin is the 10th highest paid football coach at $9 million a year. So there's a tie there.
You're not getting your money's worth out of Hugh Freeze.
Nope.
Hugh Freeze not in the top 20 of that. 9 of the top 20 highest paid coaches, though, are in the SEC. So.
Do you have them?
I've got the 9.
I
don't have the rest of them.
Give us the 9 and let's see if you're getting your money's worth.
Smart, $13.2 million.
I mean, yes, you're getting your money's worth out of Kirby Smart.
Yeah, remember Nick Saban's first contract in Tuscaloosa was?
It was $4 million.
$4 million.
Yes, and it was the end of amateur athletics as we know it.
In fact, his whole contract was 6 years for.
I think it was 8-4, 32.
Okay, 32. Yeah. So he's making 13.2. Dabo Swinney, he's number 2, $11.1 million a year.
Lance, the program is not where it once was, but they're a one-loss team that is at the top of their conference right now. They're almost a shoo-in to play in their conference championship game.
I can still stomach paying Dabo based on what he's done for the program.
Yep. So I would say yes to Dabo.
Sark, 10.5.
Yes.
Lincoln Riley, $10 million.
Nowhere close.
Yeah. Ryan Day, $10 million.
Complicated.
It is.
Yeah. By the way, 6 years removed from Jim Harbaugh saying, what was the quote? Some people were born on third base and think they hit a triple. Jim Harbaugh about Ryan Day.
You know what's amazing? Ryan Day, 1-7 against top 5 teams? We have so many of these numbers jump out, whether it's James Franklin or Lane Kiffin, and the lack of success they've had against top-ranked teams. That's what's going to be even more amazing about Nick Saban. Once this is all said and done and 15, 20 years outside of this, when you've got so much parity in college football, people are going to look back and they're going to look at Nick Saban's record against top 25s, top 10s, top 5s, and it's going to blow people away.
Just the other SEC ones, this Brett McMurphy, with great follow on social media, by the way, Brett McMurphy, Action Network. DeBoer at number 7, or tied with the top 4, $10 million a year for Kalen DeBoer.
I mean, it is still early, but I would say it's complicated. Yep. Like the same thing I said about Ryan Day. Let me see a little bit more.
Brian Kelly is at $9.9 million. Couldn't find that other, just
$100,000.
Yeah, just give him to 10.
I don't know that they're getting $9.9 million worth out of Brian Kelly.
Stoops, Kiffin, and Drinkwitz are all $9 million guys.
That's overpaid on all 3 accounts.
Heupel's $9 million.
I mean, you say that about Eli Drinkwitz, back to him.
I mean, I think they've been disappointing this year.
Well, they've only got 1 loss, right?
They almost lost to Vandy in overtime at home.
But the fact that he has Missouri where there's expectations.
We'll see. I'll make a call on him at the end of the year.
Heupel, $9 million. All of a sudden, we kill him occasionally, but he just won a big game. And James Franklin out of the SEC, $8.5 million. You're getting a deal for James Franklin at this point. Dan Lanning, $8.2 million, big win this past weekend. Oklahoma, $8.1 million with Brent Venables. $8.1 million.
I mean, for that offense, I'm getting paid $8.1 million, and that's my offense.
What would he have taken?
Oh, I know.
Take that Oklahoma job. You probably didn't have to pay him $8.1 million.
But see, this is
you say that. I mean, he hung out, in Clemson with Dabo for a while. I mean, he was a hot commodity.
But don't forget that number is reflective, Jim, of the extension he got at the end of last year. He was only in year 2 at Oklahoma. Had a 10-win season and got that extension.
Yeah, let's get into some more college football here. We'll talk about some of the games going on this weekend, but first we'll talk with the 5 biggest games or 5 games we've enjoyed. Best games is what I said. 5 best games, however you define that. But first, LT, tell us about our friends at Milo's.
Milo's wants to remind you, if you're looking for a incredible catering opportunity idea for this fall, Milo's can help. They've got burger bars up to 100 burgers. They can do 1,000 burgers. You can customize, build your own burger bar. This is going to be a hit at any tailgate. They also have other catering options, individualized box lunches, ideal for any work or team gathering. Special offer to the next round of viewer or listener, $10 off. First-time catering orders this fall. Enter the code Catering10. That's Catering10, all caps, Catering1010 when you order Milo's Catering through the Milo's mobile app. To learn more about Milo's catering options, visit miloshamburgers.com/catering. That is miloshamburgers.com/catering. Stay saucy.
All right. Here are my 5, and I'll go 1 through 5 in the ranking here. And to Brown's point, you got a lot of it this past weekend, but I still think the best game to date was Georgia, Alabama, and Tuscaloosa, the Alabama win. For me, number 2, and I thought it was an entertaining game, 8 lead changings, was Oregon beating Ohio State in Eugene this past week.
I feel like, and it's number 2 on mine as well, NBC did us a disservice in the way they presented the game, which maybe it was just me, but that made it feel less exciting. But when you step back and look at what you watched, that was a very entertaining game, extremely exciting.
Of the major networks right now, NBC does it worse.
I would agree
College
completely.
football.
Well, they just don't do much college football.
Yeah. To everyone yesterday in the chat room, it feels like it's a Notre Dame broadcast.
That is correct.
What it
yeah.
is.
I think Fox to me does the best job. Then I would go ESPN/ABC.
Then CBS, then NBC. Yeah. I think I'm with you on that.
Ole Miss LSU is my third favorite. Again, Brownie, that was this weekend in Baton Rouge.
Correct.
Number 4 on my list, even though Bama lost, that Alabama-Vandy game was an entertaining football game.
Are you serious?
The 4th best game of the year.
That made your top 5 best games?
Yeah, I mean, that was an entertaining game. And I would put a footnote, Vandy-Virginia Tech was a fun game too. And then Penn State-USC was on my list too. Penn State beating USC. That's my top 5
Mine
games.
is more random.
Wow, more random than having Alabama Vandy.
Well, look, you've got to have those, and not Alabama Vandy. So I'll just start. Number 5, Oklahoma State, Arkansas, double overtime.
Almost put that on there. I'm not sure we were watching 2 good teams, but that shouldn't matter. That was a very entertaining game.
However you define best.
Yeah, that's right.
Even more random, a Friday night where Washington State outlasts the Spartans of San Jose State 54-52 in double overtime. That was just a fun game to stay up and watch.
On a Friday night, too.
You know, Washington State, Washington, just off my list. That was an entertaining
It
Apple
was.
Cup. Yeah.
Bad finish for Washington.
Number 3, Oregon, 32, Ohio State, 31. It lived up to the hype. Number 2 on my list, Alabama, Georgia, 41-34. And number 1, down 20 in the second half, Miami beats Cal 39-38. That game had everything.
Number 1.
I think it's the most entertaining game I've seen this year.
So it's on my list. I've got a lot of the same ones you guys have. Bama, Georgia, number 1 for me. Oregon, Ohio State, number 2 for me. Number 3 for me, Penn State, 33, USC, 30 in overtime this past Saturday. Here is one neither one of you mentioned, and I struggled on LSU. They've actually played some entertaining games as a one-loss team. LSU, USC was pretty entertaining.
Very close to my list.
On that first Sunday night. LSU, Ole Miss, Saturday was quite entertaining. Went to overtime. A lot of meaning in that game. But the LSU game I've watched that entertained me the most was LSU South Carolina.
Was that because it was sort of a bad weekend and that ended up being the best game of the weekend?
It was 36-33.
No,
you put that on any good weekend.
I thought LSU Ole Miss was more entertaining.
Oh, LSU South Carolina had everything. Lead changes, back and forth, massive plays. That was an incredible game. And then I had Miami Cal 5th on mine. Number 1 on yours is crazy. 39-38 Miami over Cal, and I think a lot of people gave that one to Cal at the half or at the end of the third quarter and went to bed, get ready for church the next morning, and woke up and they're like, holy crap, what happened in that game?
I mean, if you take Alabama out of it, if you were just watching Vandy beat Ohio State and it played out exactly the same way,
I guess, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of feelings involved with Alabama losing that football game for a lot of people, but Alabama Vandy was – to see little Vandy beat a blue blood like that was entertaining football. But that's the good part of this, only halfway through the season. And really the back half of the schedule is stacked with better games. So you really think this weekend could be maybe a better weekend because
it's going to be tough.
Georgia Texas is a top 5 matchup. That matches what you had last week with Ohio State.
Yeah, just let me give you some scenarios.
Okay.
Oak State knocks off BYU on Friday night.
All right, that's a good start right there.
I mean, I don't think it's going to shock you guys.
That would be a little surprising.
Auburn knocks off Missouri Saturday morning.
Okay.
Whoever wins Nebraska, Indiana, it's an incredible story coming out. You either got an undefeated or a 1 loss.
Jim, will you watch that game?
Nebraska and Indiana?
Yes.
I will watch it like I got 2 Cornhuskers in each hand.
I mean,
only because it was your upset alert.
I'll watch it just like
only
this.
because it was your upset alert.
You
right?
know, South Carolina, Oklahoma has become what should be an entertaining game with a lot at stake. Especially for Venables.
I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game, though, don't you? I mean, Oklahoma's offense is awful, and South Carolina
should be. Alabama, Tennessee, doesn't matter whoever wins there. There's going to be a nice storyline. Notre Dame, if they were to lose to Georgia Tech.
That's massive.
I don't think that would be about on the same shock level as Oak State knocking off BYU, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. That's about the same point spread.
I believe both of the underdogs can win. I think I like Georgia Tech's chances better. But But both of them could definitely pull the upset.
Again, Mercedes-Benz Stadium probably holds 70,000 for that game. Notre Dame fans, 50,000, you think, in that?
I say it'll be 40 if it's 70,000.
I think 70 is what they will hold for a college game.
I'll say 45-25. I think my boy Poochie carpools some people to the stadium.
He's probably got a
Okay, Arkansas knocks off LSU. Georgia knocks off Texas.
So this maybe isn't as entertaining of a weekend. This is upset weekend.
You're just going upsets.
No, it could be. I'm just saying
a number of top 25 losses.
It would be so fitting with the narrative of the 2024 season, with how tight all these games are, how much parity there is, if you had everything get flipped and all of these ranked teams lose again. Just wouldn't surprise me.
All I know is that Saturday, Alabama, South Carolina was a highly entertaining football game. Came right down, crazy last, 6-7 minutes, right? And then I get to the 2:30 window, USC, Penn State. I know it didn't go your way, Lance, but a highly entertaining football game, can't deny. Yeah. And then I got to the nighttime window, and I get Tennessee, Florida going to overtime. I get Ohio State, Oregon. The last play of the game determined that. I get Vandy and Kentucky. Last play of the game determined that one, or near last play. I think Vandy took a knee right after that fourth down didn't get converted. And then I get LSU Ole Miss walk-off touchdown in overtime. Those were my 4 primetime games. That's as good as you get.
Would it be a crazy weekend if 11 top 25 teams lost?
Yeah.
And
that'd be crazy.
And some of those are top 25 matchups, but when the higher team would lose, because scenario where Georgia could beat Texas at number 1.
Yeah, one of those top 25 teams is losing right there, so you got one there.
Yeah. Louisville could beat Miami. Miami struggling with 2 bye week, now Louisville.
Yeah.
Alabama and Tennessee are 2 top 25 teams, but
so
if Alabama loses,
that's 2.
Arkansas could beat LSU.
They could, yep.
Stretch here for UCF to beat Iowa State, but they have changed quarterbacks. They've gone with Ja'Cory Brown.
It's a stretch.
Yeah, Gus having to change quarterbacks is pretty stunning. I thought KJ Jefferson
West Virginia beating Kansas State is not a stretch.
I'm not down to that yet, but Georgia Tech over Notre Dame is a done. Nebraska over Indiana can happen. West Virginia over Kansas State can happen. Nighttime Morgantown, so it's a road game for K-State. Auburn over Missouri can happen, right? And then Michigan, Illinois are 2 top 25 teams. So I gave you 10. You guys didn't agree with the 11th one on Iowa State and UCF.
Stanford could beat SMU.
Yeah,
are you serious?
Yeah.
They could.
Stanford looked awful against Notre Dame. And SMU's played improved football.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that game's on the farm,
you
right?
go back to SMU's loss. Do you remember the loss? It was a Friday night 3-point loss to BYU. And everybody's like, damn, man, SMU, they're just not ready for the ACC. BYU beat them.
Yeah, and BYU's undefeated and ranked.
By the way, that's potentially 12 ranked teams losing this weekend, and there are 5 other ones that are not playing. So it would be only about 8 ranked teams surviving the weekend if all those play out.
Well, I want to go back to one of Lance's there. I'm a little surprised you said this. West Virginia in front of the Hillbillies, as you like to say. Primetime Fox against Kansas State. You think that one's on the board, huh?
I think it is.
Because West Virginia did not deliver against Iowa State last week.
No, and you just had Neil Brown come out to his fans and say, hey, look, I want you to be patient with me after that loss on Saturday.
I mean, he said, wasn't it?
Are you not entertained?
Basically, he was like, they had fun at the tailgate. They had fun at the stadium. I know they want to win the game.
Yeah.
It was kind of a weird quote out of him.
But are you not having fun? Yeah. Are you not having fun? More football here. Show being brought to you by our friend CPAP Plus. CPAP Plus, tell about those great folks. It changes your rest cycle.
Yeah, look, we all know how important sleep is. If you struggle with it, if you wear the CPAP, you want to make sure you're in the right equipment, clean, good hygiene equipment. If you're looking for the best CPAP gear with personal service you can trust, visit CPAP Plus. You can Google CPAP Plus or stop into one of those 3 convenient locations, Pelham Highway 280, Trustful. New customers out there, something special for the Next Round viewer and listener, $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mask system, CPAP cleaner, even a travel CPAP machine. Make sure you mention the Next Round. Stop by today. CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment, all in stock, ready for you with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
And you can go see America. It is cool weather finally, boys. You felt the nip in the air. Fall is here. You go see America this fall in an RV from Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. 334 indicator, always online at johnstonrvcenter.com. Great discounts right now to help you go see those leaves change. How about travel trailers as low as $145 a month? How about fifth wheel savings more than $45,000? RV warranty forever. Make sure you've got lifetime protection. Lifetime warranty on anything new and qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV Center. JohnstonRVCenter.com. We're asking the MyBookie.ag chat room, could Wisconsin sneak up on Penn State? That game is not until next week, so we got another week to talk about that. But I did want to say, since that loss to Alabama, Wisconsin's figured it out a little bit. Their last 2 weeks, they have been dominant against Purdue and Rutgers.
They have. Braden Locke has been really good at the quarterback position. I think Phil Longo's offense finally has a little rhythm to it.
52 and 42 in their last 2 games.
Yeah, watching what they did against Rutgers last week, I was really impressed.
That's not a bad Rutgers team either.
Didn't they lose one more after
They lost
Alabama?
to USC out in the Coliseum, but they have figured it out the last 2 weeks. I don't know if they can take on Penn State. I mean, it's a home game. They'll be jumping around at night there at Camp Rand. It'll be a tough spot for Penn State.
Steve Sarkisian, Kirby Smart, 2 guys who are former Nick Saban assistants, now leading their own program, battle of top 5 teams this weekend in Austin. Here's Steve Sarkisian on the common characteristic among former Nick Saban assistants.
I'd say the first characteristics is everybody recruits really good players. When you're at Alabama with Coach Saban, I think you come to learn and value that you get to coach great players. And when you've got great players, we all become better coaches. I'm smarter. I call better plays because those guys make me look better, right? And so I think all of us that have been with Coach Saban recruit really good players. And whether that's Lane at Ole Miss, Kirby, myself, we're always trying to find really good players. I think all of us believe in the value of a complete team, whether that's offense, defense, and special teams, because when you play games like this at a really high level against really good people, and the goal is to try to win that last game, it's hard to win that last game. It's hard to be a national champion if you're not a complete team, if you're not a versatile team. And so you got to have depth of quality players, and 2, you better be good in all 3 areas because it's tough to get to that game and it's tough to win that game if you're just a one-dimensional team.
Don't you think Texas is the most complete team in the country? And I know I say this as they could lose this weekend, but they're top 10 in scoring offense, top 10 in scoring defense. That's about as complete as you can get.
I think they are, but they haven't played anybody.
I thought that about Georgia too, didn't you? Did you?
Did I think that about Georgia?
Yeah.
After Clemson?
No. I mean, before the Alabama game, I thought Georgia was probably the most complete team in the country, and they've shown not to be.
Yeah, we'll know. I mean, if Texas wins this game and they cover, win game by 7, 10, 14 points, then I think it's going to be easy to say. I just don't know. I would say yes, but because I haven't seen anybody else that is a complete team.
I know it sounds crazy when you look at the final score, but Quinn Ewers was not great in that game for Texas.
No, I think Russ showed.
Yeah, I do. Bad turnover early. That was a bad interception he threw early. Maybe another week, Jim, of practice and being closer to 100% healthy will help him. But I'll tell you what, if Quinn Ewers plays the way he did against Oklahoma, if he plays that way against Georgia, Georgia wins this game. That was not a great performance by him.
One amazing stat for a Kirby Smart coach team, 5 turnovers. That's all Georgia has created this year.
Yeah.
5 turnovers. That's all they've got.
And they've turned it over way more than they used to.
Yeah. Carson Beck versus Quinn Ewers may be one of the better quarterback matchups we've seen to date this season. Hey, cut number 18, if you will, Tyler. Cut 18, if you will, buddy. Kirby Smart gets asked about his team's identity. And that's, you watched Georgia. You thought you knew what their identity was when they beat Clemson. But since then, even in their wins, they have not looked like Georgia. Here's Kirby.
Coach, just from an identity standpoint, what is the best case scenario? I mean, every team is a little bit different, but what are you looking for this team to fulfill as you grow it and the season progresses?
I want to see them play their best game against Texas. I mean, simply stated, we have not played our best game. We have not put a complete game together, and that's what every coach's goal is, right? To play your best game moving forward, and that's what's going to be needed to go on the road at Texas and play. We got to play better, and that's the only goal I'm thinking about right now is how we play this week.
They obviously did not play a complete game against Alabama, especially that first half, one of the worst first halves I've ever seen from a Georgia team. They didn't play great in the first half against Clemson.
Nope. Was it 6-0?
6-0 at the half. So they have not played a complete game. Can't you say the same thing about Alabama?
Oh, of course. Yeah, Alabama's not played. Like, Alabama's best game to date is Georgia, right?
Or Western Kentucky.
Yeah. I'll credit. I'll go with a higher degree of difficulty against opponent. Alabama's best game was against Georgia. Now they played a complete half of football in that one. Like, the first half Alabama put on the field against Georgia beats absolutely anybody in college football going away.
Best team in college football.
Best team in college football, but they did not play a complete game there. Their offense didn't continue to move the ball in the second half. Their defense gave up big plays and a lot of scoring in the second half. No, they haven't played a complete game. Georgia hasn't, obviously. I mean,
I'm not sure Oregon has.
No, they definitely have not.
I don't think Penn State has. We know Ohio State has not.
Mm-mm.
We know Miami has not. We mentioned Alabama. LSU's at number 8.
Oh, they haven't played a complete game at all. I'm not sure they've gotten close yet.
I don't think we've seen anybody's best game yet of the national championship contenders. There's so much in the second half of the season unknown, and maybe it's because of the parity that we keep hearing about. Is we don't know what complete games look like anymore.
I felt like for Texas, Michigan felt about as close to a complete game as you're going to find this year, I think. I mean,
that's a good point.
They were pretty dominant offensively in that game, and they were absolutely dominant defensively. Michigan could not do anything, but then I also grade that on a curve. I mean, that is such a bad Michigan offense.
Same way with Oklahoma. Oklahoma was just Michigan in different uniforms.
That's right. It's Michigan in crimson and cream. Just a terrible offense and a good defense.
Yeah, I really think if you're looking at just based on results, the most dominant performance was either Alabama's first half against Georgia or Georgia's second half against Clemson.
Or you could say Georgia's second half against Alabama. Minus the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, got a little greedy, kept going deep. I do think Clemson's a lot better than people think.
I mean, again, it's Clemson's only loss, and
I think they're going to win the ACC.
At halftime, that game was 6-3. Am I correct? Or was it 6-0?
6-0.
6-0. And Georgia, to Lance's point, dominated the second half.
Rece Davis joins us on the other side. One more thing in this segment after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is our friends at Urology Centers Alabama, urologycentersalabama.com. UCA with 35 urologists, 16 locations, one near you, to treat all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones. They did LT's vasectomy back in the day. He still has the scar to prove it.
Have you seen it?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know if there's a scar from a vasectomy. I don't think there is.
I'm not going to look. I'll take your word for it.
I promise you can't tell.
Wow.
Visit just from
what did that mean?
You can't see it. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Visit urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com to schedule the appointment near you. And also by our friends at Gray's Tree Service.
I got to clean it up.
We'll clean up the dead wood on the show with Brownie right after LT tells us about the people that can clean up the dead wood in your life.
Yes, if you have dead wood, look, you're risking property, personal damage. I had the dead trees. I had Gray's come out. I've got them actually coming out this Friday to check out some other situations I've got landscaping-wise. But family-owned and operated for 25 years right here in Birmingham. Experts in high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen those trees and plants. Again, I had them come out. We've had other people up here at the office have Gray's come out. They do fantastic work. Gray's maintains a fleet of specialized cranes and lifts to get the job done right, prevent damage to your home. You've probably seen them rolling around town. Call 205-281-6100. Tell them the next round sent you. You can scan that QR code or just visit graystree.com.
I did not get fooled by the tweeter tweeting a fake Mark Stoops quote. I got fooled by the publications that picked up the fake tweeter's fake Mark Stoops quote. So Mark Stoops did not say that about NIL, but numerous publications that follow Kentucky picked up that quote and used it, and I think On 3 even got fooled by it. So I apologize. I wasn't fooled by fake tweeter. I am at least smarter than that. I'm not very smart, but I'm smarter than that.
All right. When we come back, Rece Davis College Game Day, ready for the big one. Back in a moment on TNR.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hey, you. Feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair. To kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
Here at The Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn, Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
Rece Davis, College Game Day in a second after LT tells us about our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. One decision he made years ago that changed his life forever.
Yeah, make that phone call that I made over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Toe. The Next Round sent you. She is going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Again, I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. Now 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
When Rece joins us, we'll be talking about the big game going on in Austin and in Knoxville and some other things with the host of College Game Day. But to clean up some stuff we talked about the last 2 days, and I'm amazed it's happening this quick. But according to several reports, the Football Playing Rules Committee has been made aware of and have gone back and looked and had discussions about the 12 men on the field in the Oregon game and the clock runoff. According to the reports, they are, quote, engaged. And On3 Sports reports that there may be a change in the rules as early as this weekend. That they may change the rules as early as this weekend.
So whoa. So we're going to play half the football season under one set of rules and then change them midstream in reaction to one singular play. That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard.
That really is.
In mid-season we're going to change a rule in mid-season.
Engage the Football Playing Rules Committee and On3 Sports saying the change could come as early as this week. And I really wouldn't have a problem with it. It's a
I would.
All the rule change would be is all only to do with the clock. The clock.
I'd have a huge problem.
Yeah,
How
not?
can you play under half the season under one set of rules and then start changing rules mid-season?
How many plays has that impacted?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It's
that was
impacted
high
one in
profile.
a big game.
Yeah, I would tell you that at that point, everybody would be playing. They played by the same set of rules in the first half of the season. They'd be playing by the same set of rules in the second half of the season.
Boy, our knee jerk to
That's
everything.
ridiculous.
Like I thought that because when we talked about this the other day, I pointed out the NFC Championship game in 2018 with the Saints and the Rams with the pass interference where they went way overboard, completely changed the review rule the next year. It was there for 1 year, and they went completely overboard after A&M and LSU with the 6-7 overtimes. But now to do it in season?
Yeah, and I just don't see how you stop it with this one play. If you see this as an issue, then every single play's got to be part of this. Like, how can you just say, well, 12 men on the field, yeah, that we're going to give time back, but pass interference in the end zone, no, you don't get your time back. Does that make any sense to you?
It does in that situation. Last 2 minutes of the game, if you don't want the clock run off, I think you should be able to decline the loss of clock at that point.
Well, so you're not just limiting it to that one rule then.
No.
You're
but
saying
in the last 2 minutes of a
anything.
game, if there is a penalty that allows the clock to run off, and I have to take the penalty, or if I take the penalty, I feel like I should get my 4 seconds back. I want my freaking 4 seconds back if I'm Ohio State. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Rece Davis, he frequently needs more say. He's always having to say, guys, let's move through this pick right here. Rece is with us now. College game day. What is up, Rece? How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing awesome. We appreciate it. Rece with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I want to start first with a congratulations followed by a question. Your guys' numbers, ESPN continues to send us information. You all are having one of the best college game day years you've ever had. And there's never been more competition in that space, by the way. So that speaks very highly of what you guys are doing. So, A, congratulations, and B, why do you think that you guys are seeing a bump in numbers?
I think there's a lot of excitement surrounding the sport, the expanded playoff, the newness of realignment. And then for our show particularly, I mean, the dynamic of having Nick Saban on the set has first created curiosity and then delivered components of must-see television. I mean, you don't want to miss what he might have to say. And then the chemistry that he's had with Pat McAfee, because the odd couple formula has worked on the silver screen, on Broadway, on television, always works. And those two guys like each other and they have great chemistry. Then you combine that with Kirk's place in the sport as the analyst voice of the sport. And I think, and then Desmond's sort of approach to it, being a star former player and his unique insight there, it's just created a really good dynamic that I think has worked well for us. And I think the uptick has been surrounding the fact that people wanted to see, okay, what's this new dynamic with all of these people on the set together? What's this going to be like? And our guys have worked very hard to deliver as best they can for the fans every week. And I think they've done so in a tremendous fashion.
And Rece understandably did not include himself in that, but Rece deserves a lot of credit for this as well. I texted Rece after the game. It was Texas, Michigan. You guys had moved on the field. You had a power outage. The truck was having glitches. You just had random people like walking up during the segment, just talking to the guys on the set. And Rece never missed a beat. I was like, dude, I do not know how you managed that. I mean, that was incredible.
I think one of the random people was before his guest picker segment was Michael Phelps. Yes. So you didn't want to really shoo him away, So it was No, but it was fun, and thank you for that. I appreciate it. It's, I always kind of look at hosting those shows. First of all, I think to do it well, you need to be involved in the conversation. You also need to know your limitations. I'm not going to, debate Nick Saban over the intricacies of press technique coverage or press coverage technique. That would not be wise, nor the role of the host. But you can talk about, whether it's NIL money, or last week when we talked about the fake injuries and all of those types of things. And not that we disagreed, but those types of things, a host needs to be involved in the discussion, and they can have a reasonable difference of opinion with a former player, former coach, and it's not out of bounds. If you start arguing about them, well, now he's not building his program right, or that guard pull, the steps are wrong, or something, then you're out of your lane, and that's not what I'm talking about. But I don't think that you're doing the job effectively if you're not immersed in the show and immersed in the conversation. If you are just asking questions, what do you think about this game? What do you think about that game? Then I don't think it's as effective as the way, at least, that I attempt to do it.
Rece, back at game day in Tuscaloosa a few weeks ago, Pat McAfee brought up the fact that y'all had dinner at the Sabins, and there were some good Lane Kiffin stories, and you guys kind of laughed. I don't know if you can get into one of those, but what is like the best?
I would say no.
The best Sabins.
Not doing that. What's said at the Friday night dinner table?
Fair enough.
It's at the Sabins house or elsewhere, stays at the Friday night dinner table.
But
sorry about that.
No,
but I'm not going there.
He has got so many funny stories that we hear off the cuff, and I'm just wondering if there is one that you can share with us.
Oh, I mean, there are so many. I love hearing his stories. In fact, I was talking to him this week, and we were talking about some things with the show, and I said to him, as a general rule of thumb, I said, now there may be times when we have to, move to something else, go to break, whatever it might be. I said, but as a general rule of thumb, if you have a story, tell it. Because it's like the old adage that if you probably have this a little bit wrong. I think it's from Steve Sable from NFL Films. He used to say something to the effect, and I'm paraphrasing here, and I wish I could recall the quote exactly correctly, but it was basically something to the effect of, tell me a truth and I'll believe it. State a fact and I'll accept it. Tell me a story and it'll live in my heart forever. Wow, right. Yeah, and Nick is a great storyteller, and we want to tell those. He told one, I don't know if this is his best one, but for some reason this one jumped to mind. He was telling the story a few weeks ago, and he had told us at dinner the night before of when he was coaching for Belichick with the Browns. And there was a guy, I believe his name was Joe Kim. I believe he was a martial arts expert, and he believed that he could help the pass rushers. And Belichick didn't want to talk to the guy, and basically sent Nick down to talk to him and to basically get it off his plate. Go talk to this guy, mixed martial arts and martial arts. He's not going to help us. I don't know about this. You go take care of that. Nick didn't really want to do it, as he tells the story, but he goes down there, talks to the guy, and before long he goes back up and tells Belichick, I believe this guy can help us. And this guy becomes like the pass rush guru in the entire NFL. And he said, I go down there thinking, I got to get this guy out of here. I've got work to do. And instead, it becomes a guy who's helped. So there are a ton of stories like that. There are so many about the various guys who've come through the staff, even with Dan Lanning last week, and the idea that he was going to try to hire Dan, and Kirby beat him to it, and then Nick's got great timing telling stories, and he's funny, and it's been a great boon for our show.
So Nick Saban's storytelling is the green light base running of Ricky Henderson on game day.
Yes, yes. You always have the green light. Go. Take the extra base.
And somewhere in the future, Nick Saban will look at Pat McAfee and say, I used to do a show with a guy a lot like you. John Olerud there. Yeah. Hey, so you're heading to Austin. It's Georgia and Texas, right? So this is a big game. Have you seen a Georgia identity yet from this Kirby Smart team? It just doesn't look the same this year yet for Kirby.
There's more. There are more missed tackles, not in aggregate necessarily, but we have these deep dive stats. You look at broken tackle, missed tackle attempt percentages, and that's way way higher than it typically is for Georgia. They haven't hit the quarterback or sacked him as often as you might expect, although I know that Kirby's always been sort of the same mindset that Nick always was, that affecting the quarterback is as important oftentimes as actually taking him to the ground. But I would say that Kirby would like to see his players make contact with the quarterback. And that turns out that's all he was really demonstrating with Michael Van Buren last week, was how to affect the quarterback on the sideline. I said joking. Kirby apologized for that. It's no big deal. But, I haven't. But I'll say this, guys, and you probably have heard me say this on the show. Poor old Georgia. Just going down to Austin, hoping they can find a way to get a first down. Just, I don't know, this Texas juggernaut. I just don't know what poor old Georgia is going to do about that. Texas is a great team. And I do think up to this point in the season that Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State, in my judgment from the way they've played, have separated themselves a little bit. And because of the identity question that you mentioned with Georgia, I think they'll include themselves in that group. They've got to prove it a little bit, but it's pretty important to me to point out that while Texas defense is outstanding, and what I'm about to say doesn't mean they aren't, among their Power 4 opponents, they have faced a starting quarterback who is a former walk-on making the second start of his life, and 2 true freshmen. The best passing offense they've seen is UTSA. They haven't seen anything like Carson Beck in Georgia. And I know people will say, well, Carson Beck needs a signature win. And that's probably true. That's fair critique when you are the quarterback at Georgia and for an aspiring national champion. But Texas hasn't seen a passing offense like this. Even if you have questions about Georgia's receivers, which I do to some degree, this is a different challenge for them as well. I think it's going to be a great game. And I agree with your premise that Georgia hasn't been quite what you expect in the Kirby era on defense yet. But I think they have the personnel to get there, and I think they've been challenged now. And I would imagine that they'll arrive in a irritable disposition on Saturday night.
Tom reminds us in the MyBookie.ag chat room, I had forgotten this came up in the offseason when Chip Brown told us this is also the F1 weekend in Austin. So...
And Eminem and Sting apparently are doing post-race concerts. There might be someone of great prominence and interest to your particular geographical area who might get a little experience in an F1 car this weekend, as you'll see on College Game Day. Maybe. Maybe we'll see how that plays out.
Okay, so Nick Saban coached at Alabama, and Rece Davis is from Alabama.
And I'm going to say Charles Barkley can't fit in the car.
Charles Barkley cannot fit in one. Yes. So we'll see. I just feel like, Rece, we were trying to project where 10-2 teams, 9-3 teams, whatever. We're scared to death to make a projection right now. The way this season is going, I just feel like every team's day of reckoning is coming. It's going to be one of those years.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had gargantuan games that have delivered. We've had just mind-boggling upsets. And while I fully acknowledge that Vanderbilt is much improved and a really good team, and Pavia is a great story and really fun to watch, Alabama shouldn't lose that game.
No.
Northern Illinois is a solid team. Notre Dame shouldn't lose that game.
Nope.
That's just the way it is. But because of this year and because of the experience that teams can put together quickly in the transfer portal, that if you are not ready, you might be more vulnerable than you would be historically in college football in some of those situations. So, I think that you're right. Everybody's going to get clipped. I was asked a question last night on SportsCenter among the teams in the SEC who are in danger, and one definitely will suffer its second loss of the season, who can most afford it. And in my judgment, that's Georgia. And I don't know exactly how all of these playoff predictor things go, but the percentage chance of Georgia making the playoffs only drops from something 69 to 62% if they were to lose against Texas. Now, obviously, it changes the calculus a little bit if they get beat by 3 touchdowns, which I don't anticipate. So there's a lot at stake for all of these teams, but I would say that Alabama and Tennessee, in that regard, are the ones who certainly hope won't be lost, but it will take a significant hit, whoever whoever loses in that game Saturday afternoon in Knoxville.
I know you can't confirm this. We were trying to project, though, but if Texas beat Georgia, Vanderbilt as a 27.5-point favorite beats Ball State, they're probably ranked, or they definitely are ranked. Is there a chance you guys are in Nashville in a couple of weeks?
I would say it's on the list. It's certainly a week that would open that door. We've looked over a couple of things. There is probably, not to give away any secrets, but I think the easy one would be Notre Dame and Navy, but that's not on campus. And, historically we would much prefer to be on campus. So I wouldn't phrase it as a lock by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly I would put it in the category of under evaluation.
Boy, I mean, you're asking about Lane Kiffin stories and future game day locations.
We'll see what we get Rece on.
Yeah. I mean, would you like to ask him what he's getting his wife for Christmas on things he can't answer right now? So, listen, I've loved, Georgia, Texas, great helmet game, now a conference game. I've loved the old Rose Bowl look games that are the new Big Ten matchups like the one we had last week. But there's got to be something in my old soul with Keith Jackson echoing in my brain of Alabama, Tennessee with the cold weather now here in the South. This game this weekend has sort of a playoff feel around here. What do you think of Bama and Tennessee?
It's really, Jim, it's kind of a fascinating game, I think, because Alabama's defense has had some issues, as you guys I'm sure have talked about and pointed out, in terms of not getting off the field on 3rd and 4th down, allowing some big plays in crucial moments, things like that. And the Tennessee offense has had trouble lately creating those plays. But I think the thing that people probably need to understand about Tennessee that is a little bit contrary to what you've become accustomed to with Josh Heupel is that this team's strength, in my judgment, is the defensive front, particularly the defensive line and the depth that they have, and the running game. Now, Nico Iamaleava is a really talented guy who's going to be a great quarterback and already is super talented and is dangerous for sure. But, he's learning to play at this level. Maybe he comes out and, throws for 400 Saturday. But up to this point, it's been pretty pedestrian in terms of statistics against SEC competition. They've relied on Dylan Sampson, who I think has run for 15 touchdowns already this season and is among the leading rushers in the country. And that defensive front, they just keep rolling guys through. Now, they do have to replace Keenan Peely, who was hurt last week. And when I talked to Tim Banks, their defensive coordinator, earlier this season, before I called their game against NC State, having Peely back was a really big deal in terms of communication, organization, getting everybody lined up. But they have a lot of veterans up front on that defense. Their secondary was largely new. They didn't have the transfer from Oregon State, who's been really good in helping them in man coverage. But, the front is the strength. So I think a big thing in this game Saturday is, can Alabama's offensive line create anything in the running game? And also, can they avoid negative plays? Can they avoid big sacks, strip sacks, like turned out to be huge, or hit sacks, maybe more so than strip, in the Vanderbilt game? Can they protect Milroe well enough, and can they get enough going in the running game? I know people are probably up in arms about the way Alabama has played in its last 2 games, but of the many bullet points on Kalen DeBoer's resume is the ability to bring out the best in his team in the biggest situations. If you don't believe that, you can ask Oregon twice last year. You can ask Steve Sarkisian twice in the previous 2 years, or you can ask Kirby Smart from this game. They will have a game plan that will be a challenge for Tennessee. And I think the question becomes, can they protect against that Tennessee front? And can the defense fix some of those communication issues in order to make Tennessee be effective time and time again running the football, and not supplement what is, I'm sure, going to be a solid running day from Sampson? Will they keep them from supplementing that with big chunk plays through the air?
ESPN's Game Day is off to a record start. They are on their way now to Austin, Texas. It will be hard to one-up. My sign fell. Yeah. It always falls. It will be hard to one-up last week in college football, but they'll give it a shot this week. Thank you very much, Rece. Enjoy Austin, and enjoy, if it is you, riding in the F1 car. Don't vomit.
All right. See you guys later.
All right. Thank you, Rece. Rece with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Well, you know, one of Rece's co-hosts owns a few dealerships that race on the F1.
Mercedes, pretty good team on that circuit, aren't they?
Yeah, and Ferrari is too. So there's a good chance that
it's Nick Saban.
That maybe Nick's at least turning a wrench in that video.
Is that one of those? It's too much going on in Austin, sensory overload.
Oh yeah, I would not want any part of that city this weekend.
It is a that racetrack there. What's it? Road of America.
I think it is
something like
that.
Of course,
Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, Circuit of the Americas. Apparently, one of the best ones in the world.
Yeah, I would not want any part of this weekend. Not one bit.
All right. When we come back, we'll talk to Brooks Austin. He's the film guy that you see all the time on social media. If you follow him, you like college football. You guys loved him last week. He'll be back. Show being brought to you today in part by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. Tell us about New York Butcher, LT.
Yeah, whether you want to just stop by and get you one of those huge deli sandwiches for lunch or pick up food on the way home from the fresh meats, delicious steaks, get it dusted there, smash burgers, specialty items, incredible sides like the goat cheese, mashed potatoes, those fantastic baked beans, an incredible selection of fine wines and dessert. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, the original Cahaba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Rare quality, well-done service. It is the New York Butcher Shop.
I finally got that banana bread over the weekend that you boys had told me about that bourbon walnut banana bread. Jim laughed. He's like, so Dunaway and Lance finally taught you into it. That is legit stuff right there.
I bought him out one day.
It's good.
He was down to 3 loaves, and I was like,
I think she was impacted.
I'll take all 3.
I think she was impacted by the flooding in North Carolina. He was telling me that they might not have it in stock because she's having some issues up there. That's very unfortunate, but that's some good stuff right there.
Always great stuff at Academy Sports as well. Their newest location near us, just a driver away, in fact, maybe a driver 7-iron, Academy Sports on Highway 280.
Yeah, it's the brand new location. Support Academy Sports wherever you can, but especially if you're in Birmingham. Highway 280 location of Academy Sports and Outdoors is in the old Best Buy. They're having their grand opening. That Best Buy is in the Target Shopping Center up behind Chick-fil-A. They're having their grand opening right now, so you can go get great deals at Academy Sports and Outdoors. They're giving away gift cards all the time to celebrate that grand opening, so go be part of it. See that gorgeous brand new Academy Sports and Outdoors location on Highway 280 in Birmingham.
Make your future plans. If you're a big sports fan, Atlanta hosting the Super Bowl in 2028. That announced officially yesterday. So it's New Orleans this year, Levi Stadium, then SoFi, then Atlanta for you NFL fans. Remember, only my Buccaneers and LT's Rams are the only team ever to win a Super Bowl on their home field. And you golfers, Ryder Cup next year, ticket prices are out. You can start getting your tickets.
They're steep.
$225 a piece. $255 a piece for practice rounds, $425 a piece for the Celebrity Pro-Am, and $750 a pop face value.
Wow.
On a public course at Bethpage. You could play. I think you could play. Somebody said 5 rounds of golf for the price of 1 ticket at Bethpage.
Yeah.
When we come back, we talk to the film guy! Exclamation points after all 3 words. The film guy. Did Kane Womack make an adjustment in a positive direction as Alabama gets ready to go play Tennessee? We talk to the film guy next.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show, always brought to you by Champy's Chicken. It's a tradition here on the show and in Alabaster, Alabama, home of the great Thompson Warrior High School football dynasty on 119. That's where Sterling's unit is of Champy's Chicken. For over a decade there, the same location. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, smoked hot wings, poor boys, of course, the Southern Fried Chickens. Perfect for your tailgate weekends. Champy'sChicken.com. Alabama's defense allowing a 75% completion rate in the last 2 weeks against Vandy and South Carolina.
That's the Norris Sellers and Diego Pavia, Jim.
Would you get the film guy on the phone for me here to explain what's going on?
Brooks Austin is the film guy. We love it when you guys give us feedback on the show, good or bad. I mean, you know, look, we're big boys. We can take the bad. We had Brooks on a couple of weeks ago, and y'all loved Brooks coming on the show, so we're glad to get him back on again. Welcome in, Brooks. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I got to be honest. I'm glad I was accepted back because I watch the show quite often. The guest list is like nothing but superstars, as was just on display with Rece Davis. I mean, my God, man just came in here and lit it up. I mean, and then you follow up with me, and I apologize for that, boys. I'll try to live it up.
No, listen, man, we love everybody. I'll tell you, anybody that comes on and buys into the show, we love them, right? Anybody, and you've done that, so we appreciate that. You also do a lot of film breakdowns, and a lot of people love looking at it. You're close to Georgia. You cover that team on a regular basis as well as they get ready to play Texas. We just discussed this with Rece. What is missing from this Georgia team? Not that they're awful, but they're not the dominant Georgia we've seen. Where is this team missing a beat, in your opinion?
I think it showed us itself on tape. First of all, this week when I was watching Texas, first of all, like they've been consistently inconsistent on both sides of the football. 1 week they're bad in one area, 1 week they're good in that area again the next. And 1 week it's a new issue, the next week it's just constantly a new thing. And going into football games, there's no predictability as to what they might struggle with. That is a sign of a really talented team that's not quite hitting on all cylinders at this point in time in the season, right? Whereas I watched that Texas film, and there's that play, right, where number 26 fumbles the ball into the end zone, and number 11, the transfer from Oregon State, runs down and makes the touchdown and falls on the ball. And he outruns like 6 or 7 Oklahoma defenders on the way to do so. But if you see the all 22 of that, if you see the coach's copy, the player that makes that play, number 11, is the furthest player from the ball carrier as he breaks into the open field. And the moment he sees him break into the open field, he is full tilt, full gas, all the way in it, running the ball and chasing the ball. The things we teach rec players to do, assuming that every play might be the play that I have to make a play, right? Not relying on other teammates, not assuming that plays are going to be made for us, but assuming that every play is mine. That's what great teams do. That's what great players do. And the very next play, Ryan Wingo, the true freshman, has an identical play on a touchdown block, running 45 yards downfield. The only reason you do it is for the one time the play breaks, right? But you do it every time, even when it doesn't. But the time that it does break, because you did it every time, you made that play. It's the assumption that every play is my play that I see right now that Texas is hitting. And granted, the schedule's been bad. But that's what they're doing really, really great right now. When I look around the world of college football, I don't see a ton of it on tape from everybody. I see a lot of assuming that my teammates are going to pick up the play.
I'm sure you have heard that Kane Womack, the defense coordinator for Alabama, is getting completely torched right now. The last 10 quarters, this defense has given up 96 points. The last 2 games, they've given up 19 of 33 on third downs. The last 10 quarters, 7 of 8 they've given up on fourth downs. When you take a look at the Alabama film defensively, what has been the biggest issue?
Yeah, I really deep dived the Vandy one. Obviously, I watched the TV copy of the South Carolina game, and there was a noticeable adjustment from what they were doing against Vandy. And I know I went viral for the man-to-man defense stuff. That was certainly a problem. They had no change-ups to what they were doing. They just kind of played base defense most of the time. But a real big problem in that football game against Vandy was they didn't even attempt to match personnel either. Like if there were 3 backs on the field and 1 tight end, Alabama didn't get heavier with personnel. If there were 2 tight ends on the field, Alabama didn't get heavier on personnel. So the idea that you're not rotating personnel was a little bit concerning to me as well in that Vandy game. You turn on that South Carolina game, and from the first snap of the football game, you can see them playing a lot of zone coverage and mixing looks. And the reason this is great, and the reason they had such success in the first half, was because now South Carolina is having to respond. Now South Carolina is getting out of their opening script. All of these offensive coordinators have an identity of what they want to do most of the time going into a football game. And when you see a team like South Carolina with a young quarterback on the road in their first possession, having to call audibles at the line of scrimmage, that means defensively you're doing something that they didn't prepare for. That's a win off rip. I thought the performance against South Carolina was a lot better. And look, credit to where credit is due. I respect Dow Loggins. I respect what he is doing right now in terms of protecting a young quarterback. And I know South Carolina fans that might listen to this and be like, what in the heck is this guy talking about? He is doing work. He is attempting to get some things open for this offense. And eventually, if you're playing a lot of zone coverage, you're going to get beat with a zone beater eventually. And that's what happened on that 4th and 9 play, the big explosive, the lone big explosive, if my memory serves me, that South Carolina achieved in that football game. So I saw a lot of adjustments week to week from the Vandy, South Carolina football games personally.
I'm interested in where you are in Alabama's offense right now because we know how good it looked in the first half against Georgia. I think we just all excused it away because it's a big lead. You're trying to win the game, and then you made the explosive play at the end in the second half against Georgia. And then Vandy, I think we all said, well, you only had 17 minutes to perform, so we excused it away. And then there was Saturday. South Carolina, good defensive ends. What is that the reason why Alabama's offense didn't look the same this past week, or are you noticing something that all of a sudden isn't working for the Tide offense?
I'll tell you this. I don't think there's another college football program that is going to attack Alabama's offense the way that South Carolina did. For what, 19 starts now with Jalen Milroe at quarterback, the number one thing you'll hear defensive coordinators say is we can't get too far upfield. We can't aggressively get after this guy. We got to push the pocket. And basically what they're saying is we're terrified of this guy. We're terrified he's going to slip up in the pocket and take off for 45 yards. South Carolina took all that in 18 games of we're scared to rush this dude, threw it out the pocket and said, hey, we got Luke Kennard, we've got Dylan Stewart. We're going to hunt this individual for 4 quarters, and we're going to sprint to the mesh point every single time. We're going to get in wide 9 splits. We're going to stand out and stand up, and we're going to rush the hell up about this guy for 4 quarters, and we're going to see if we either live or die by the sword. And that's kind of exactly what happened in that football game. The moment time was created, right, you started to see some of those explosives in the passing game start to show up for Alabama that they rely upon in this offense. That defensive line from South Carolina is tremendous, particularly the edge rushers. Tonka Hemingway on the inside does his due diligence in terms of stopping the run and identifying eyes or at least capturing eyes from offensive linemen as well. But no, I think there's room for improvement, certainly, but they did a much better job.
Brooks Austin is with us at Brooks Austin BA. He is the film guy at Brooks Austin BA is where you follow him on social media. And he's got a YouTube link right there in his social media bio and his X bio, so you can go click on that and follow him there. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Alabama is at Tennessee, and, you know, as we talk about Alabama's defense getting maybe exposed a little bit in their adjustments, all of a sudden this Tennessee offense seems as though it has been exposed. Klatt did a really good breakdown with us on what he thinks is going on with Nico, but in a bigger picture, not that you have to be limited to that, obviously, but in a bigger picture, are defensive coordinators catching up with Josh Heupel? Is it as simple as that, or is it a little deeper in your opinion?
I don't think it's necessarily them catching up with the offense necessarily as much as it is taking advantage of the holes that offense currently has. And here's what I mean by that. For the first time in 3 years, I saw a defense in Florida dedicate bodies to the box and say, we're gonna stop the run today, and we don't care if you've got one-on-ones out there. We either think we can cover you, or we don't believe you can protect long enough and actually get them completed. And guess what? That's exactly what happened in that football game. So you're starting to see, due to an inefficiency of Tennessee's offense, from the ability to protect this quarterback and the ability to complete deep shots. It's both of them, right? The moment there's clean pockets, I see a young quarterback that has now gotten to the point of the season where he just assumes every pocket is dirty because 90% of them are. And then the one clean one pops up and they've got a touchdown on tape and he looks uncomfortable. I'm not going to blame that necessarily all on the quarterback. There's certainly some issues right there at the quarterback position. I don't think he's necessarily tying his eyes to his feet. He's not clicking through his reads cleanly at this point in the season. But again, I'm not expecting you to click through your reads 7 games, 8 games into your career as a college football, let alone if you've got dirty pockets. They've got a major issue right now at left tackle. Lance Hurd is certainly trying to get back and play his way into shape from an ankle injury that he had early on in the season. He is, by definition, a liability right now. And I know there's this idea that they're running the football really well. Dylan Sampson's running the football really well. This offensive line's getting blown off the football. They're not maintaining blocks. I think what you're seeing right now is an SEC coordinating staff from Florida last week basically say, they ain't beating us, guys. We're going to play chicken with them today. We're going to stop the run, and that's exactly what happened. We're going to pressurize the quarterback and cover him. And until Tennessee starts to hit those shots that presented themselves in that football game, by the way, I think this is going to be the continued approach. I don't think teams are going to be very scared of this deep passing attack right now, which is what the offense is predicated off of, running the football and throwing it over your head when you think you can stop the run with extra bodies. And right now, they can't throw it over your head.
We know Nick Sheridan, Caleb DeBoer, their offense runs through Jalen Milroe, which it should, but Milroe almost as many carries as the combination of Jam Miller and Justice Haynes. Do you think, based on what you see on film with this Alabama offensive line, if they dedicated to go to Justice and Jam, could they have success running the football?
I think that certainly has to happen, but I think there has to be more of a dedication to playing complementary football right now at Alabama, and that should be the messaging that I see, right? When the defense is gashed, giving up 17 plays, guys, we need to go out and have a drive of our own offensively, and I know we like to score 75 yards now in a blink of an eye, but our defense is sucking wind over there. Can we maintain possession for a second and actually play complementary football. The two sides have to work together. Same thing. When the offense is struggling, man, the defense got to get up off the field, right? And I think that's part of the problem right now. I mean, you go back and look at some of those football games, that 17-play drive in Vandy, defense has to go right back out. I think they give up a 10-play drive after that. You look at that Georgia game in the second half, there is no concerted effort from the offense to start burning clock via the traditional run game like you're talking about. So, yeah, I don't like to be hypercritical about certain usages because I think Kalen DeBoer is an extremely good offensive coordinator, and I would be running for his legs as much as he is right now as well. But you're right. There has to be some type of development in the run game between Jam Miller and Justice Haynes, both of which are extremely talented running backs. They do great work when they have the ball in their hands.
I looked up your senior playing weight in college, and your Parker Brailsford size. Do you have a soft spot, Parker Brailsford? Playing center. I think you played center, right? I mean, so you all even played the same spot, yeah.
Yeah, so I wish I would have found guys like Parker prior to the end of my career. I wish I would have been watching guys like Jason Kelsey a little bit more and trying to play like that. I love the way that these guys get to play. I love that their coaches are just like, oh, you're a little bit undersized, but you're a dynamic athlete. Watch us change our offense right quick. Watch us down block with guards and pull with the center because you're the best athlete of the five. I would have loved the idea that this was available to guys back in the day, but 10, 15 or 10 years ago, you kind of play what you played.
Alabama fans don't want to hear it, but is Seth McLaughlin the best center right now in football at Ohio State?
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh. That's a deep pull, man. I ain't out here grinding that many center kills right now. But
I mean, there's a lot of people that believe through the first half of the season he's played like that.
Playing great football, and I thought he played decent football at Alabama to pretty good football. Just couldn't. The snaps were a major problem.
Right. That's big for the center, though, bro.
And truthfully, that's all he noticed too. Is that all the snaps were fantastic this past week? He's not grinding on center tape either.
He's still throwing missiles back there. That was the problem. It wasn't location. It wasn't throwing them high, throwing them low, rolling them. It was throwing rods back there to the quarterback, and he's doing the same thing right now with Will Howard. I guess Will Howard's just got better hands than Milroe. I don't know, but it's not a problem right now for Ohio State.
It has not been. All right, he is Brooks Austin. Go follow him on social media at Brooks Austin BA, YouTube as well. He does great film breakdown. All you people that love to have the game explained to you the way it really works, Brooks is doing that for you, and we always appreciate the time, Brooks. Thanks for coming back on.
No doubt, boys. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. We'll see you. Brooks with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
And he's brought to you in part today by our friends at A+, Brownie. Tell us about A+.
A+ Tile Home Remodeling. I got some more photos, some before and afters from Brad that I'm going to pass on to Scott to show. Brad Bell is the guy I'm talking about. He is the contractor that when it came time to redo the master bath in our house. Scott is showing you before photos. Not an awful bathroom, I know. Just a little more dated than we wanted, a little brighter than we wanted. We kind of wanted the darker colors. My wife scoured the internet looking for the right contractor. She brought Brad in. We gave him our vision, and as Scott shows you, it matched our vision. It wasn't just something he said, this is what you need to do. He also warned me when he came in. He's like, hey, I'm going to give you my quotes. I am going to tell you, get a quote if you want to from these one-day bathroom renovation people. He said, number one, you're going to find it's higher than my quote. And number two, a lot of times they just come in and slap a shower over an existing shower, and that is just disgusting. So go ahead and look at it. And we didn't even do that. We trusted Brad so much, but I've come to find out he was exactly right about that from talking to other people who were upset about that. 205-422-1758 is his number. Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling, his specialties, master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. 205-422-1758 for Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
Hey, and special thanks to the Inverness Country Club for Lauren Sisler, John Willard allowing us to be part of the book signing and the Q&A last night at the Inverness Country Club. Fantastic place, just beautiful location, incredible food, great bar. They've got memberships that fit everyone at the Inverness Country Club, from the resort-style pool, social membership to the golf membership, the driving range. They have finished the expansion there. Childcare, also a big plus. You and your wife on a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? You can drop the kid, go have yourself a day on the court or course. The best days happen in Inverness. Take a tour of this unbelievable club. Call Aaron. Tell her the next round sent you. 205-991-8608 or online, ICCalabama.com.
And that show is right there on our YouTube channel. And I would recommend going and looking at it. Not us three idiots talking at the start, but when Lauren joins us, it was very powerful. just her story. And Shatterproof is the book, and I cannot wait to read it. She gave us all a copy, which is very kind of her. And her story is amazing, and you can see it right there on our YouTube channel. About an hour and a half. She's with us for the last half hour.
4 downs in just a second. 5 quarterback matchups this weekend that are interesting. I want to ask you guys quickly, who's the better quarterback in the game? Okay? Who's the better quarterback in the game? I know the answer to this, but it's ironic, so I'll start with this one and get to 4 tough ones. But isn't it ironic that Luke Altmaier is the better quarterback in the Illinois-Michigan game? That Michigan does not have a Luke Altmaier.
I mean, Michigan with Luke Altmaier would probably still be a one-loss to Texas team, but that might be their only loss.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, Altmaier's had 1 pick the entire year. He's playing great football for Bielema.
Never saw this at Ole Miss either. When he would come in relief at Ole Miss, I just never saw this out of Luke Altmaier.
Leads the Big Ten, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception, like LT says. Okay, interesting discussions now. In the much-talked-about Big Noon kickoff, Nebraska at Indiana. Raiola or Rourke, which R do you want in that game?
I would go, long-term Raiola. Not even close, but Rourke right now in his 6th year of football, all of the experience, big game, lots of pressure. He's not going to make the mistakes that Raiola would.
If I'm starting my program today, it's Raiola because he's got a lot of time left, as Lance mentioned. But this game, this day, probably Rourke.
Probably Rourke. Okay. Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Haynes King or Riley Leonard?
I'd go Haynes King.
I would go Riley Leonard.
You think it's close?
I think it's close, though. Yeah.
Riley Leonard, against Notre Dame did just enough to win against Texas A&M did just enough to win the game. And we're like, look at Riley Leonard. And then against Northern Illinois did just enough that they couldn't win the game against Northern Illinois. And it's like Riley Leonard does just enough every week. He's never really dynamic. And we've seen Haynes King. It's been up and down, but we've seen him be dynamic at times.
Right.
71% of the passes Haynes King is completing this year, which is a surprising number to me. I lied. I only had 4 of these unless I've lost one here. But in the big game, Texas and Georgia, would you rather have Quinn Ewers or Carson Beck?
I think I would rather have Beck right now. If Ewers just a little off coming back from the abdominal strain.
Yeah, Ewers has, and this is not the first time Ewers has been out hurt either. Injuries are an issue for him. If you want to factor this in, like which one do you want? Carson Beck really hasn't missed time, has he?
No, Beck concerns me a little more with turnovers.
Yeah.
But I think Beck's a better quarterback right now.
I think Beck's the better of the two. I'd probably go Carson Beck there.
Pretty good quarterback
Take either one.
in Austin this weekend. Let's do our 4 downs. It's brought to you by our friends at Slice Pizza. There are 5 great locations, lunch and dinner, wherever you are in our area. Check out our friends at Slice.
Yeah, make sure you go into one of those 5 locations, the original Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Go see the Bajalia Brothers. Local pizza, local ingredients, specialty pizzas, incredible, from the hot mama to the soul pie to the Bajalia special. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
The late Manute Bowl would have been 62 years old today. He died early, by the way.
That's sad.
Better career, Manute Bowl or Muggsy Bogues?
Oh, it's Manute Bowl.
Muggsy had a good career.
Muggsy had a good career, but Manute Bowl gets mentioned with some of the NBA greats. Muggsy size makes it a better story.
Yeah, being 5'3.5", 5'4", whatever Muggsy was. I thought the interesting thing about Manute is later in his career, all he did was shoot the perimeter shot. Just pull it up from 3.
I'm not going to work down there. Are you kidding me? I think both of them are only in this question because of their size, though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's the obvious comparison.
But I think
Muggsy was in Space Jam, though.
That's true. He was.
I did not know that.
Yes.
I think Manute, though, is... I don't know if he's top 10 defensive guys in a certain era of NBA basketball.
I don't remember that. I know he had a lot of block shots based on size.
Yeah, one of the shot blockers.
But, Muggsy was running an offense for the Hornets where they actually went to the playoffs, and I think they were a game away from the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think I'll go Muggsy Bogues. Actually.
I think I would lean Muggsy.
Second down.
Suzanne Summers would have been 79 years old.
Come and knock on my door.
Better career, Suzanne Summers or Sue Bird? Sue Bird's 44, by the way. They share a birthday. The Sues.
I'm going to say, Sue Bird's one of the greatest in that. I'll probably go Sue Bird here. I can't give you her career, but I think she's considered one of the greatest of all time.
Okay, I'll probably go Sue Bird 2. Suzanne Summers is 3's company, but what else?
There was a show with Patrick Duffy late in her life. She did the little thigh exercise thing.
Yeah, thigh master.
Yeah, one of the most famous pitch persons for a...
eyeballs-wise, not even close, Suzanne Summers.
Yeah, but this goes deeper than that.
Yeah, but if you are one of the leads on one of the top sitcoms for almost a decade plus,
I don't
or
think
WNBA.
she was on it for a decade.
Ooh, I don't know.
I think Three's Company was, it was a good run.
Had a good run.
It was known as...
They replaced her at some point.
Did they really?
It was a contract dispute.
Either she replaced somebody or...
Somebody replaced her.
Yeah, but they didn't have the same bombshell blonde the whole show.
I would go Suzanne Summers.
I think I
Sue Bird for me.
would go Sue Bird.
Third down.
Thigh Master, says Jay, was the name of the thing. Thigh Master.
That thing was, that was like the George Foreman grill.
It was on all the time. Her just sitting there crushing them thighs.
John Mayer, 47 years old. Better career, John Mayer, John Smoltz.
That's a good question. I'm going to go John Smoltz. Did it both as a starter and a reliever, but John Mayer...
And a very good broadcaster. Maybe the best baseball analyst out there.
But John Mayer is one of the better guitarists in my lifetime. He probably top 7 guitarists.
I don't like the Dead at all, but for John Mayer to be able to just seamlessly tour with the Dead and play, just a great guitar player.
But he does that. He jumps in and plays with a country artist. He'll do it with some heavy rock guys, the Dead, the jam bands. He's really, really good, but Smoltzy for me.
How many saves did Smoltz have?
A lot.
I think he only did it 2 seasons, right?
I think he had over 100 saves.
Yeah, I think it was over 100, but 2 seasons.
154. 154. To think that he won 230 games and saved another 150. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, I would go
so
Smoltz.
longer than 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think I'd go Smoltz as well.
Absolutely.
Fourth down.
Your boy Bryce Harper, 32 years old, Dave. What a life in 32 years.
Yeah, you're not kidding. It seems like he's been playing forever.
I think he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated at 17.
Yeah, maybe so.
I remember him. I think his dad was in Tampa throwing him the BP because his kid was from Las Vegas, but just hitting 500-foot bombs at 17. But if I asked you better career, Bryce Harper, no, that's not going to be the question. Bryce Harper, 32 today. Who wins the championship first? Bryce Harper World Series championship or Kalen DeBoer National Championship?
Well, the Phillies just can't get there with Bryce Harper. They have with other teams.
They re-signed their manager today despite an early exit from the playoffs. He's back.
I know people don't want to admit this in some of the conversations I had last night at that event. Alabama fans, they think they're losing 4 or 5 games this year. I still think Alabama goes 11-1 in the regular season. Kalen DeBoer, realistically, you said it. The first half of Georgia game, if they play like that, they can beat absolutely anyone because you could just outscore. And look, the defense forced turnovers in that game. Kalen DeBoer could win one this year. Nobody believes that, but he could.
Well, he could.
Bryce Harper cannot win one this year.
He cannot win one this year. That is true. Yeah. DeBoer has the edge in this question.
I don't think DeBoer is going to win one this year.
I don't either.
But I'm going to go DeBoer in this.
I'll go Bryce Harper.
I think I'll go DeBoer in this one.
Do you think DeBoer ever wins one?
Sure. Absolutely.
Just one?
Do you think Bryce Harper ever wins one?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's hard to do either one. Really good. Am golfer Smoltz was unhittable as a reliever. That's right. He had short work. Come in with 3 outs, 4 outs, 5 outs to get. He was fantastic. That's 4 downs brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, for lunch or dinner, get into one of those 5 locations, slicing a salad today, maybe pick up a couple of pies on your way home. You're going to love it. Local pizza, local ingredients, slicebirmingham.com.
Getting ready for that big college football weekend coming up. We're going to see Dr. B in a little bit, not to save my head. We're just going to go say hi to him because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. He's done wonderful work with these 2 guys. So we'll send out some video from down with Dr. B a little bit later on. But tomorrow night, you can come see us at the Goose over in Avondale. Did I get it right this time?
You did.
I've named it the Boot, the Chug, everything but the Goose. We're at the Goose tomorrow night in Avondale, 5 to 7. We'll be out there a little before up to 7 o'clock. So come hang out with us, have a cocktail, get ready for Thursday night football and all the weekend fun coming up. That's brought to you by our friends at Adams Beverage and Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Back in a moment.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at ryanbrownlive.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Hey, you. Feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair. To kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
We talk about all the biggest games every Monday at 10:30 with Fox Sports analyst Joel Klatt. Presented by MyBookie.ag, promo code NEXTROUND. If it is meaningful at all in college football, we cover it Mondays with Joel Klatt, presented by MyBookie.ag on the Next Round.
Back with you on the next round. Tyler, if you can cue up cut number 11 for me. Auburn coming off the bye week as they're on their way to take on Missouri. This is our hot and cold question of the day, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. They're handling everything with your heating now. Get that thing checked out. Down to 42 when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, you'll be up in Knoxville this week, and I'll be in Knoxville. I think the high on Saturday is only going to be 70 up there.
Oh, third
Saturday,
low 63 today.
Low 50s.
Here.
Excited about that. But yes, this weather's going to continue to drop. Make sure the heating is ready to keep up with the changing weather. If you experience any issues, whether it's your home or business, our friends at Hemp Hill Services, since 1954, the name Birmingham has trusted. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Auburn has not lost to Missouri since they joined the Southeastern Conference. Missouri has 3 losses against Auburn as an SEC member. Eugene Asante and the Tigers try to make it 4 straight against Missouri in the SEC as they go to Columbia. Eugene gets asked yesterday, does this look like, when he watches Auburn on tape, does it look like a 2-4 football team?
2-4 is not where you thought you would be, but when you go back and watch it in a bye week and watch those things, does it look like a 2-4 team to you?
No, it doesn't. That's what hurts probably the most, and I know it hurts the fans that the results aren't there. But I do believe in the leadership of this team. I do believe in Coach Freeze and his vision. And I understand that with somebody like that at the helm of it, good things can come out of it. And the biggest thing is just us as players taking accountability for our mistakes. I think it's in this profession, I'm not going to lie to you, I think it's so easy to deflect and, man, the coach is wrong, the coach is wrong, the coach is this. But it's like if I miss a tackle in the A gap, it's on me. You know, like they put me in that position, you know, and it's really, as a player, I've trying to do a good job of just look at my mistakes and be super critical of myself, because I understand as a player, if you have that critique of yourself, it's going to elevate your game and just others around you. So I'm trying to do a good job of that and trying to bring the guys along in that realm.
Yeah, real leader right there for them. What do you expect of Auburn on the road at Missouri?
So Missouri, when they faced I don't even want to say good offense. I would consider Vanderbilt a pretty good offense now, just how it's run. But they should have lost that game. They gave up 27. Against A&M, they gave up 41. You know, at Boston College, they gave up 21. I think the defense misses Blake Baker a little bit. I really don't know how good this Missouri team is.
Is it fair to say that Auburn will attack Missouri more like Boston College than say Alabama would attack Missouri? That they have more of a chance to run it at Missouri, like BC did?
Yeah, and I think you're seeing Hunter and Austin getting a little more involved here. My concern, if I'm Auburn, is Hugh Freeze. It just seems like there's something missing communication-wise. And Hugh has now lost 9 consecutive games to ranked opponents. That's not good.
I would agree.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, Missouri, although they're only have the one loss and they really don't have any impressive wins, they're ranked.
Yeah, 19th for Missouri as they've dropped from where they were higher in the rankings. But
here's a stat for you guys. Since 2020, Auburn's been underdogs 25 times, which is crazy.
Whoa, that is a lot.
Yeah. They've been underdogs 25 times since 2020. What Nick Saban was like once in his final
his whole time?
15 or 16 years. But if I asked you, of those 25 games, how many do you think they won straight up? We're seeing a ton of underdogs win games straight up now.
I'd say
25 games. How many straight up?
I would say 9 and 16.
I was going to go a little less than that, 7 or 8, yeah.
3 and 22.
Ooh.
Yeah, wow. So they just hadn't been good in these spots.
You're not saying like double-digit underdogs.
No.
This could be they're a 1-point dog.
Yeah,
Ooh.
like they're single digits this week. It's only 4.5.
Well, I felt like this is where Tuberville
thrived. I just don't feel good about either side in this game, really. Do you guys?
I don't. I think, Luther Burden is the best player Missouri has.
He's going to play. There was some question starting the week.
He's the best player on the field.
He's the best player on the field, but he's not on the field all the time. I mean, he checks out of games occasionally. Now, he had a really big run against UMass, but a really big run for a touchdown. But through the air, he's not scored in the last 2 games. And in the A&M game, he got frustrated and pouted on the sidelines for a little while. You can get him out of the game.
I was shocked they were able to keep him. I mean, I don't know what the money is he's making. It's got to be 7 figures.
I don't judge NFL talent, but to me, his stock has dropped a little bit just watching his body language all season long for a team that still only has 1 loss. This hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's. Champy's world-famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling's got all the goodies there. He's got the southern fried chicken brined overnight. He's got the hand-cut chicken fingers. He's got the po' boys. He's got those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. Great hospitality as well. You can get it to go. You can sit there and eat in a great venue. It just feels like you're eating at home in your own kitchen. And you can get a tailgate all right there with our friends at Champy's, champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
How different is next week's game if Alabama loses to Tennessee and Missouri loses to Auburn?
That's what I want to get to, because Zach's going crazy, ape crazy over there in the chat room, mybookie.ag chat room, about what fans are saying they could lose 4 or 5 games, Alabama. So I want to ask you, Tennessee, obviously a losable game on the road. If Alabama were to lose to Tennessee, let's say Missouri beats Auburn. And what's the point spread at that point with Missouri coming to town in Tuscaloosa?
I know I'm asking a lot of questions, like how bad is the loss to Tennessee? I mean, is it a respectable loss?
Yeah, make it a 4-point loss.
Okay, yeah. I think, and Missouri beats Auburn?
Yep.
I think Alabama's still a 10-point favorite.
10-point favorite, so that's a win. That's a win for Bama.
Yeah.
Now you beat Missouri, we'll say.
Okay.
But you don't cover. Now you're on the road at LSU. What's the point spread there?
Did LSU beat Arkansas?
They haven't lost yet.
Yeah, I mean, these are important questions.
They haven't lost
I think
yet.
LSU is going to be a 1 or 2 point favorite.
Yeah. Losable game, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
Mercer win. Oklahoma's offensive struggles.
I think Alabama's going to be a healthy 7 to 9 point favorite in Norman.
So just to Zach's point, with Oklahoma and Auburn's offensive challenges where they are right now, most Alabama fans put the last 3 games in the win column. It's the next 3, Tennessee, Missouri, LSU, where...
So I had an Alabama fan call me when we were on the way to Inverness Country Club. I had another one at Inverness Country Club, one of our good friends, and you guys probably saw me talking to him at the bar, and you guys probably talked to him as well, but he thinks there's going to be 3 or 4 losses coming up. But talking to the client, who's a big Bama fan, was talking to me about their Christmas party and wanted me to be a part of that. And he said it's going to be Friday, December 20th or 21st. And I was like, Alabama might be hosting a playoff game. And he was like, man, they're going to lose this weekend. There's a good chance Missouri gets them. There's a good chance Oklahoma gets them. I'm not making this up. I mean, I texted you over the weekend something, and you were like...
There are 5 losable games.
Well, there are, but I think this is a bad overreaction by fans to think this is going to be a 4 or 5
I don't think it's
team.
only Alabama fans, though. I think there's a lot of fan bases right now, like Ole Miss. They're so pissed. I think there's just a lot of fan bases that are like, what the hell's going on? We're supposed to be better than this.
Because of the landscape of college football, I think if you're a Georgia fan, you're used to thinking, man, we're going to beat everybody. There's Texas this weekend. I would imagine Georgia fans are tempered a little bit.
I'm like I don't think Georgia fans, Bama fans, Ohio State fans, the fan bases where it was a top-heavy sport for a decade plus are not happy about this. I love it.
Yeah.
Because, I know it's more NFL-like, but I think you're going to get a team that is 9-3 or 10-2 that gets extremely hot at the right time, and I think they're going to win a national championship.
This is really good news for Alabama that on the SEC teleconference today, Kalen DeBoer says that both Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice he would call probable.
Okay.
Getting both those back in the passing game. And I said it Saturday, Kendrick Law blocking in the run game. The guy's a devastating blocker as a wide
and
receiver.
You've established Ryan Williams as A1.
Yep.
Jeremy Bernard's a really good too.
Fantastic too.
And you're just looking, Prentice and Law both have a lot of talent. They're underutilized, and some of that is with them being nicked up. But you get one of those guys with C.J. Dupree, you've got, so many weapons on this offense.
Trash brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Let's hit the big button, Tyler. It's brought to you every day by the great folks who are the home market is starting to surge now. You need professionals. That's what you get with Mortgage Right. Hit it.
Well, shit. What are y'all doing? This is awful. It's still March. How many days in March?
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Our friends at Mortgage Right, they want to remind you, if you're in the home buying market right now, they are your mortgage specialist. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information, go to their website, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Burger King offering customers a delectable BOGO deal to celebrate the full moon next Thursday. See if Tyler's got a picture of this. On October 17th, members of Burger King's Royal Perks program can grab a free purple bun Whopper when you purchase one at menu price. Now, the item hails from the chain's new Addams Family menu. Quote, enjoy the iconic flame-grilled Whopper topped with Swiss cheese, tomatoes, lettuce, mayonnaise, ketchup, pickles, and onions, all toasted on a purple bun that gets it to you from Purple Potato, topped with black sesame buns. The Addams Family menu is available until November 10th, giving fans plenty of time to try Wednesday's Purple Whopper, as well as Morticia's Kooky Chocolate Shake, Things Onion Rings, Gomez's Churro Fries, Uncle Fester and Cousin It are unfortunately not on the menu.
Gomez's churro fries sound pretty good.
I would tell you that just my brain would bite into that thinking I'm going to get a little grape flavor at some point.
Well, you're going to shit purple like for a while.
So Tyler, the way I understand what Lance read, though, this is not just food coloring. This is made from purple, but this is a potato bun for purple potatoes.
That's what they say.
Yeah, I bet it's just food coloring. Don't you?
I don't believe it at all.
But Dunaway's right.
I am hungry enough right now. I would try it.
Well, Dunaway's right, though. You can eat something that's a different color only on food coloring. It does not change the flavor at all, but your brain changes the flavor.
Yep.
Like, or your brain makes you think you're biting into something that's supposed to taste.
Is that an endorsement? I'm so hungry I would try one.
I mean,
Would you guys try it right now?
Yes, I'd try
I'd
it
take
right now.
some of those Things onion rings.
See, I'd rather have the churro fries.
Churro fries from Gomez.
And,
good,
and
yes.
Mortish, I'll try the kooky chocolate shake.
I hate churros.
You don't like churros? I like churros.
How's this sound? Chocolate cake batter, fudge, brownie bits, and sprinkles.
I'd try it, Lance.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say no to it.
So a man dressed in a bull onesie and his accomplice were arrested after allegedly attempting to burn down their ex-lover's house by leaving pasta sauce on the stovetop. Boy, this is a motley crew right here.
Never figure it out.
Now, Derek Irving, 36, and John Silva, 38, pictured right here, caught red-handed by police when they attempted to break into a home in DeLand, Florida. And the men tried to steal a flat-screen TV before leaving a pot of ragu sauce and a washcloth near the stove in an attempt to start a fire. Now, the victim alerted police to break in when his resident security system notified him of motion in the house. When officers arrived at the scene, suspects were seen attempting to flee. Victim told WKMC-TV that Mr. Irving was dressed in a bull onesie. He said he believed the victims placed the ragu sauce near the stove in an attempt to make it look like he left the stove on. Yeah. Police say these suspects knew each other due to past sexual encounters.
Oh.
Quote, I've let him use my car for 4 months. Maybe he's angry about that, or maybe he's angry because I gave him $150 to fix his teeth.
Either one.
Yeah.
Well, somebody should show them chiclets off if they got new $150 teeth.
This looks like you don't have enough money to buy the good ones in Las Vegas, but you decide I need a Luke Bryan and a John Legend impersonator, and these are the guys that show up.
So these guys had the same ex-girlfriend? Is that what I understood?
Same ex-boyfriend.
Same ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. So guy on the left was the ex, and he puts on the bull onesie, and the guy on the right is just his accomplice.
He's just the accomplice.
Yeah,
okay.
he's helping out. He's a
but
good
the one
friend.
on the left's got new teeth, right?
Well, he ain't willing to
the guy
show
on
them.
the left is missing teeth.
And is allowed to park in the garage.
It looks like he's got some powder on those lips.
Does.
Yeah.
The guy on the right looks like somebody, Dunaway, not just Luke Bryan. Or Luke Combs, I think is who you were saying, Rose.
No, I was going with Luke Bryan. Fat Luke Bryan. But
hang on, that guy looks like somebody, Lance. I cannot put my finger on it, but it is somebody we know.
The late Ralphie May?
There's a little Ralphie May in there. Yeah. Ralphie was much larger.
In his eyes, you're right.
Yeah,
though.
there's somebody that guy looks like. If I looked at it long enough, I'd come up, but I don't want to waste the show.
No, it's got Ralphie May's cheeks, too. You're right.
So a 2,000-year-old tomb containing at least 12 human skeletons and artifacts has been discovered beneath Petra's famous Kazna, or treasury, a monument carved into the pink sandstone cliffs of Jordan. Now, the structure, famously featured in Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, holds more secrets than previously believed.
Why is it always snakes?
The excavation, led by Dr. Pierce Cressman, executive director of the American Center of Research, was the result of years of speculation. Archaeologists suspected there were more hidden chambers beneath the treasury after two tombs were discovered in 2003 on its left side using ground-penetrating radar earlier this year. Cressman and his team confirmed the presence of a similar structure on the right side, prompting the approval from the Jordanian government to begin digging. Now, Cressman immediately reached out to Josh Gates. You guys know who that is, right? Host of Discovery Channel's Expedition Unknown, saying, quote, I think I've got something. Now, in August, with the film crew present, the team uncovered the ancient tomb filled with skeletal remains and artifacts, including bronze, iron, and ceramic objects. Unlike many other tombs in Petra, which are often found looted or disturbed, this chamber contained intact human remains. Cressman explained the importance of the find, saying the intact burial beneath the treasury provides the insight into the lives of the Nubians, ancient Arabian nomads whose desert kingdom thrived from the 4th century BC all the way to AD 106. Yeah, very exciting.
I mean, it's necessary, though. It helps us learn a lot, right? About the past. I mean, it's necessary. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. Like, I wonder how many people became archaeologists after Indiana Jones.
Probably a lot.
And they're probably
Jurassic Park.
Oh, that was a dead hit right there. It was kind of like, I mean, it probably wasn't to the level of people that wanted to join the Navy after Top Gun.
No, probably not. Okay, I've got the top 10 Halloween candy by Ranker.com. Is it a flex if you give away full candy bars?
Yes, it is.
It
Because
is.
you're wealthy. It's a sign of wealth.
Sassine Brown does it every year in your community. Do you do it?
I do not.
Yeah.
We end up, the street one block over from us is the place to be.
Yeah.
We're in a cul-de-sac.
That's the hot dog stand place?
It used to be. That family moved, and that tore me up when they did.
Boy, they've got a lot of stuff going on
Someone
in your neighborhood.
opened a hot dog stand on Halloween in your neighborhood?
Dunaway has oversold that just a little bit. They had a table in their front yard, and several of the neighbors, it was an older couple, so they didn't have kids. So several of the neighbors, like one would bring a crock pot of chili. They would have a grill, grilling hot dogs and buns, and it was free. Like you
ought to do a champagne fountain just to make up for it.
Do that. But it's one street over, so we go trick-or-treating, so we just leave the bucket of candy out on the front porch because fewer kids come by our house. Now, we see on the
me and the Flints would have
they do
dumped that. Please take one. We'll take the whole thing. Somebody took our bowl one year.
The whole bowl?
The whole bowl.
Wow.
Before the old ring doorbell.
The sign says take one, please, and there's only one bowl.
So they took everything. Okay, here are your top 10 Halloween candy by ranker. Number 10, Starburst. I'm a fan of the Starburst.
Me too. Not a bad Halloween candy,
And
too.
I know it's trendy, but the pink is by far the best. The strawberry.
I would agree.
Yeah, lime used to be really good. The cherry's a little too much. But, in a pinch, all of them are pretty good. Number 9.
That's 10. Now, this is ranker again, so this is not scientific.
Number 9, Reese's Pieces. I've never been a fan.
Hate them.
For the same price, just go M&M's.
Yep, or Reese's Cup.
Or peanut butter M&M's.
That's right, yeah, either one.
So much better.
Right. Yeah.
Number 8 is the Crunch Bar. This thing has been out of mind, out of sight for a long time.
Yes, it has.
I remember when Shaq used to endorse it like 25 years ago.
Yeah. I just think of my grandmother loved those.
Yeah.
They're good, but
if I never had another Crunch Bar, I'd be just fine.
I'm just not a milk chocolate guy. Like dark chocolate is the way to go.
I like milk chocolate better, but Crunch just is not,
Number 7 is the Hershey Bar. Give me dark with some pecans in there or something. Peanuts, I'd take it.
I would take the Hershey Bar over the Crunch Bar, though.
Oh, I'd rather have Crunch.
Yeah, not me.
Just because I think both are not great chocolate.
Because I think the Hershey's Bar is better chocolate than the Crunch Bar is, and I think they're hiding the bad chocolate with those air-filled little crunches.
So you think they take the bad chocolate and put stuff in it? Yeah. They take the good chocolate and make it a Hershey Bar.
I think they're just using less chocolate, filling it with the crunchy stuff, so you get a better, pure taste with the Hershey's Bar.
Interesting.
See,
Number
I'd rather
6
have the Hershey Kisses than either the Hershey Bar or the Crunch Bar.
I think I'm with you on that.
Hershey Kiss is good,
but I want the dark chocolate. Number 6, Reese's Peanut Butter Pumpkins.
So I'm not a huge fan of the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
That's because you don't like peanut butter.
I'm not crazy about the peanut butter, but when they do the specialty ones like the Christmas tree, the Easter egg, and the jack-o'-lantern,
you think they're better?
They're better. They absolutely are
well,
better.
We'll get to the other side of this in a minute.
Maggie agrees with that. My wife is a connoisseur when it comes to Reese's Cup. That is her favorite candy, and I can always tell if she's struggling through something. If I come home and there's a Reese's Cup wrapper anywhere, I mean, she has stopped somewhere and bought a Reese's Cup or a bag of them, and she agrees with you, Brown, 100%. That better than the original is the seasonal ones, and she thinks it's because they're
fresh.
fresher.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, you do get some Reese's, and you'll see that the chocolate is turned a little white.
Yeah.
And it's just because the shelf life, they take it a little too deep. And, when you get the seasonal, obviously it's going to be fresh.
She will take it back into a service station. And
really?
And we'll say, hey, this one's outdated.
Are you serious?
This in? And oftentimes they say no.
I don't know how they say no to that. It's clearly out of date if the chocolate's white. I'm sure the person behind the counter does not care.
The person is the local BP, first of all, doesn't own that BP.
That's right.
So customer service not high on his or her scale, and B, not in charge of Reese's. So he doesn't care either if their sales drop. Does not care.
Number 5 on the list. It's lost a little steam, but I used to love the Snickers.
It's the OG, the Snickers, but just...
I don't eat a ton of candy, first off. Unfortunately, nerd clusters since we went to Pasadena, thanks to EG.
Yes.
But the Snickers, if I'm just not feeling it on the golf course, I got the shakes or something.
You'll go Snickers?
I will grab a Snickers, and it fixes everything.
Okay.
It fixes everything.
Yeah.
It is like medicine. Snickers is like medicine.
Very vague here. Number 4 is M&M's. Like, what kind of M&M's?
I
got the variety bag for the kids the other night, so they were the individuals for Halloween. So you had the regular... The original M&M, the peanut butter M&M, and then the peanut M&M.
I would say...
I like the peanut butter the best, peanut second.
Yeah. I would say the plain is obviously their number 1, peanut their number 2, but boy, they've got so many varieties after that.
Yeah.
They got pretzel ones
pretzel, caramel filled.
Pretzel's underrated. It's
almond.
good.
Number 3, top 10 Halloween candies by Ranker.com. Brown loves it. My ex, Bethany, loves it. It's the Twix.
Best candy bar out there, Tyler, is the Twix. You like it?
I like Twix bars a lot. If I
Thank
go
you.
with an actual candy bar, it's usually going to be Twix.
It's stale, whatever
It's
in
the
there.
cookie.
The
The cookie
cookie is
is
stale.
bad.
That's
the
good.
chocolate is bad.
Yeah, it's the cookie that's bad.
No, it's fantastic. Twix is
not.
the best candy bar out there.
I mean, if I had to choose between Twix or Kit Kat, I almost go Kit Kat.
No, I would go. Number 2 on the list is Kit Kat. I would definitely go Kit Kat.
I got no problem with Kit Kat.
I didn't think that'd be top 10.
When you eat a Kit Kat, do you break off piece at a time?
I do, yeah.
Have you ever seen anybody just eat it like a candy bar?
No, those should be locked up because I think they're psychotic.
That's island material.
Oh, you put them on the island for that,
Yeah,
Tyler?
you're exiled. Get out of here.
Exiled.
And number 1 on the list, back to it, the Rece Cup.
Yeah, just it's not my favorite. And Daniel in the MyBookie.ag chat room says Brown is literally the first person I've ever heard that doesn't like Rece Cups.
Oh, they've got at this joint up here where people still like to wear masks when they're shopping, but they've got the dark peanut butter cups.
Yeah, so you're
they're smaller.
dark chocolate guy.
See, I'm a
dark
milk chocolate guy.
Can't stand dark chocolate. I'm a milk chocolate guy too.
Me too,
But if
Jimmy.
you just look at the picture of the Reese's cup, you can also tell compared to the jack-o'-lantern or the tree or the Easter egg or whatever. There's just more peanut butter in the others than there are in the Reese's cup, and I think that's what makes them better.
So you really don't like dark chocolate at all? That surprises me based on the fact that you like IPAs, you like really earthy reds.
No,
because I think the bitterness of the dark chocolate is what I really enjoy.
Okay, but now if I'm pairing it with a glass of red wine, if I'm sitting here and I've got some almonds on like a charcuterie board and some dark chocolate on there and some fruit on there, that's fantastic. But I just cannot eat like dark chocolate candy if I don't have a wine with me.
See, caramel is better than chocolate. For me, caramel is mine.
Yeah.
Like, I'll eat anything that's caramel. Now, I don't like salted caramel. I like your normal, everyday, just the way God made it caramel. This all salted caramel, that's some sort of newfangled invention we didn't need.
I like it, though.
I just want normal caramel.
Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process so easy. Speaking of veterans, they are veteran-founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com, or call 205-900-7200 to talk with a mortgage pro right now. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Do we have a ice cream sponsor on with us right now?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. I just before we went by, it was my son's birthday on Sunday. So we went by and he has a brewery that he likes the burger at. So we went by and got that. And then we went by to get some Jenny's ice cream because he loves that as well. It's his birthday, so we decided to do that. So I got the sampler, the little 4-scoop thing, because I wanted to try a bunch of stuff. They had some weird flavors that were rolling. One of them was the sweet potato marshmallow praline. Would you have given that a shot?
I saw it the other night when I was there as well.
I like sweet potatoes and pralines, not crazy about marshmallows.
I didn't get anything. I'd taken Leighton to dinner at the little Italian joint right there.
Yeah.
So we walked over and I forgot what she got. I thought about trying it though.
Yeah. It was not bad. It was not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, pralines and cream is maybe my favorite favorite ice cream.
Their salted caramel is the best ice cream I've ever had.
That was one of my scoops. Every time I go in there, it's got to be. They had miso butterscotch brownie.
Yeah, hard pass on that.
Yeah, it was not good.
Miso and ice cream just does not go for me.
And this is the one that I had to try because Maggie knows how much I hate bay leaves. Bay leaf cheesecake flavor ice cream.
Did you try it?
I did.
How was it?
I did not like it because it said bay leaf. And she's like, you can't even taste the bay leaf. And I
Well,
said,
why'd
I know,
you put it in there?
But it says bay leaf
I
on
know.
there. And in my head,
You're right.
In my head,
Like-
I'm like, all I'm tasting is bay leaf.
You could say miso whatever ice cream. Don't
That's
put
right.
a drop of miso in there.
That's
What's
right.
the only thing I'm going to
See,
taste?
that's sadly
Yeah.
you can ruin it for other people. Like there's a local salad in town that's chopped, and it's got a anchovy kind of taste to it. And I brought it up to a couple of people, and they can't eat it now.
See, and I never noticed it until you brought it up.
Yeah.
Are you one of them?
Yeah. Well, I don't know that I've gone back to eat it.
Yeah.
No,
I
but
ca-
it's
I
not
can't eat it
because of
now.
that. But I never. When you said it was anchovy in it, I was like, "There's no anchovies in there." You're like, "Brown, it's all over it."
If you've never tried it, the strawberry buttermilk and the buttercream birthday cake.
Both those sound really good.
Oh my gosh! And that salted caramel one, that's good stuff. All right, a fun show today. Again, tomorrow night we're over in Avondale, and we'll be at the Goose
That is right. Yeah, that's 2 for 2 for you now. You're on a heater.
We'll be at the Goose coming up then. Football tonight, Western Kentucky, Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State still transitioning up a little bit, but really, I think, a talented football team. That's going to be a good, underrated football game tonight, 6 o'clock ESPN2. I think they play within a score of each other. That's how fun it'll be.
You've sold us on this one. I need to look at the
I don't even know what the point spread is. I think it's within a score.
Sam Houston State minus 2.5.
Okay, I didn't even know the line. I told you it's going to be a score contest.
Total of 54.5. So you would say over that?
Plays in the high 20s, probably.
You think over 54.5?
I don't know about over, but I just know it's going to be a good, entertaining game. You can get the lines and play it all right there at mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag, Brownie. Promo code next round.
That is right. Auburn's still a 4.5-point underdog on the road at Missouri. This Alabama-Tennessee line stayed around 3. That's right where you find it right now. Alabama, a 3-point favorite on the road at Tennessee. Another massive game, obviously. Texas, a 3.5-point home favorite over Georgia. All of that right there at mybookie.ag. You use code next round when you go to mybookie.ag. You're going to make your initial deposit. They are going to double that deposit with code next round. Double it, I tell you. You can use that money right away. Win once with it, it is yours. Not something you got to win 5 or 6 times to keep the money. mybookie.ag, code next round to get double that deposit. Code next round at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code next round.
Bueller and Severino tonight. Dodgers and Mets, 7 o'clock on FS1. For those that watch the show, they know you're a big Los Angeles sports fan. Am I right about this? It's Rams, Lakers, Dodgers in that order?
Yeah, well, for a minute, because the Lakers had so much success with Kobe and Shaq, the Dodgers jumped because they went from 88 to 20 without it. Yeah, but traditionally it was Lakers then Dodgers.
Yeah. So, but you still love the Dodgers.
Yeah, big game tonight, big game 3. Obviously, this is knotted up at 1 apiece. Dodgers slight road favorite, minus 115.
But past performances recently, not past, but recent performances, Severino's been pitching better than Bueller. Though, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Can the Dodgers get 6 strong innings out of Bueller? And will the Dodgers offense come back? They scored 3 runs in game 2, and they had a lot of opportunities.
They scored a boatload in game 1. It's just a fun series, and Brown will like it tonight because cooler temperatures.
That's right.
They'll have the sleeves on.
Yeah.
The fans will have the jackets on. A little breath maybe, and it'll feel like fall baseball in the playoffs tonight. All right, we're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget to go check out all the EG and Taylor and Brown stuff from SEC Basketball Media Days. That is on the social media platform at Next Round Live, Like, subscribe everywhere, and give us a thumbs up. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.